I went like 9-0 in the MLB, and then like I lost like 4 in a row. But then I'm back. I'm back on track now. But yeah, it's like it's up and down season. Obviously, MLB is a
Ups and
grind.
flows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
ebbs and
mean,
flows,
I
yeah.
think it was the start because I got off to such a hot start to the baseball season, and I was like, "Yo, this is my year." I bought a first 5 run line hat. I was like, "Guys, I'm a baseball guy now." Like, guys, baseball first now. But
We
this
did
week,
get cheated yesterday, though, Kyle.
well, you know what? I'm a little frustrated because my initial lean was the first 5 under in that game, and then I let myself get swayed off and took Arizona instead.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? We're live. Friday night, we got the 2 final play-in tournament games and 14 MLB games to go through. So, yeah, definitely a loaded Friday night. Let's get it started. Let's get a poll running. We got Bulls Heat first. Did you guys see? I tweeted out that clip of you guys laughing at me putting the Knicks in the ECF.
Yeah, I know. You ended it before I said what did I say? I said something like we should stop laughing.
Yeah, in case
'cause
it
I know
happens.
You're gonna post, yeah, because you're gonna post this
You left it
later.
out on purpose, Z.
Yep. It's gonna be the perfect. I'm gonna retweet it every week if that happens.
Hey, I'm 2-0 since that. So far my projections are right on par so far.
Yeah, we were solid. Oh yeah, your bracket is 2-0. Got
My
it.
bracket
Yeah.
is perfect. Yeah.
Well, we probably should have waited to do the bracket until after the 8s and 7s and 8s, because then we could have a more accurate. But let's talk Bulls Heat. And I don't know if you guys saw what I'm on. I took the Chicago Bulls to win this game, which is crazy. I know betting against the playoff Heat, but and look, this isn't just a fate of the Heat without Jimmy Butler, because I know that there's probably a lot of action coming in on Chicago because of that. The Heat have shown us this year they can win games without Jimmy Butler. It's not so much that. It's the way this Miami team looked down the stretch of that Sixers game. A lot of indecisiveness with the ball. Tyler Hero would get the ball up on the elbow, and just it looks like he didn't know what to do with it. Like the spotlight was too big for him or something, and which isn't really how I would describe the Heat. That's why it was uncharacteristic. And without Jimmy Butler, he would be the veteran presence to put a stop to that, right? So I think they're going to be missing him in that regard. And Chicago, you'll never hear me sit here. You'll never hear me give an endorsement for the Bulls defense, but actually inside the three-point line, it hasn't been bad at all. They've been playing decent defense inside the three-point line. They've actually been defending the mid-range shot well, which really leaves this entire – if the Heat just have an average three-point shooting night, I think they're going to lose this game. If they have a below-average three-point shooting night, I think the Bulls might beat them up. So obviously there's the chance Miami's hot from outside and they win this game, but I think there's more possibilities – more possible outcomes that point towards the Bulls winning this. And the Bulls offense looked great in that Hawks game. Now, it is the Hawks, but DeRozan has played well against Miami in the past. And without Jimmy Butler, that's just another guy missing to rotate on and off of DeRozan. I think the Bulls offense is going to be able to score points in this game. And if that happens, I don't trust the Miami Heat offense to keep up with that. So I'm on the Bulls, fading the Heat.
RC, go ahead.
Yeah. I see your points, Kyle. I do, but initially I was looking towards the Bulls too, but I ended up taking the Heat. Couple of things here. Obviously, you mentioned how the Heat are without Jimmy. They have done well without Jimmy on the season. Obviously, it's different, right? This is a play-in. It's a different atmosphere, but I do think that the rest of the team kind of steps up here. I don't really know if not having Terry is going to impact them too much either. I mean, it's not like he helped the defense anyways. I think one thing with the Heat without Jimmy, they continue to play strong defense anyways. 16-6 to the under without him in the lineup. So one thing that I could think of as far as the Bulls offense and how they've been doing and their defense that you mentioned, behind the arc and on the mid range is, if you look at the recent schedule, they really played some cupcakes in my opinion. So I think that maybe has something to do with some of their recent numbers as far as their efficiency stuff. On the Heat side, I know defensively, so the Bulls, their identity is within the arc, right? Mid-range, within the paint. And those are the things that the Heat really do well defensively. And, obviously if they put this zone against the Heat, the Bulls team, they might struggle to score. And you could see that in the beginning of that Sixers game. Until the Sixers started shooting their threes and hitting them, they were really struggling to put their offense together. And that's something that I could see against this Bulls team. And then the other fact too is if you look at the Heat squad, the Bulls team, they don't typically see totals under this number, right? The only time they've seen a total 210 or less was against the Heat earlier this season, and it's just an ugly type of matchup that doesn't go along with how they play the game. The Heat won that game by 18 points, so this is just a situation that I could see the matchup wise, from a matchup perspective. Even without Jimmy, I think things kind of lean towards the Heat side here. I know people are going to bring up the fact that the Heat struggle at home, but these smaller home favorite situations is what they've actually been successful at. They haven't won, they haven't covered as heavy favorites at home or as dogs at home, but these little lines where they're 4 points or less favored, they've actually been covering them at a high rate and winning those games. So to me, a lot of things really pointed towards the Heat. If you want to pivot away from it, I think a Bulls team total under as well, because we're not going to see this Bulls team shooting threes like they did against the Hawks.
No, I don't expect to see that either. I expect the Bulls to attack the interior here. It's not necessarily that I think they'll have a ton of success, but I think they're coming into this game hot, and I think DeRozan's going to be able to get to his spots and get his. And it's really more of a fade of the Heat offense. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. One more thing, too. Jimmy played that whole game, the last 3 quarters of that game with an MCL injury. And that's one thing that we got to think about, too. And that's how I wouldn't say that's to blame, but maybe that's the reason why everything was kind of messed up. Like their chemistry wasn't there because they didn't know, should we push Jimmy to the limit with this injury or whatever it is? Because obviously he was hurt. You could see on his jumper, his shit was like a straight line when he was shooting those threes, and he still made them, but you could tell he was being affected by it throughout the game.
Yeah, you definitely, it was noticeable. Chris, are you sided with me or are you sided with you, Capper?
Man, it's an ugly, ugly game, like you said, Cal. But if I had to break the tie, and I didn't bet the game, full transparency, not quite yet. I want to make sure Caruso's in. If he's in, Cal, I'm with you, man. It's ugly taking the Bulls here, but plus 1.5 for Chicago is the way that I would play it as well. I don't like taking back in teams that don't play defense, specifically on the road. And that Bulls defense, I think RC mentioned it. You even mentioned it, Cal. That Bulls defense has not been good. I think their opponents' team totals are 5-0 to the over on their team totals, 6-0 in their last 6 games as well. And that's one of the reasons the Bulls have been going, trending a little bit more towards the over. But I think like all, chips kind of pushed in the middle of the table. I think the coaching edge goes to Miami, of course, with Spoelstra. But I think that, with Caruso playing, I think the Bulls just have a little bit more depth. Right? When you think about the injuries start to add up. Now you're down Jimmy Butler. Duncan Robinson was probable in that game on Wednesday. He didn't even get off the bench. I'm not sure if he's going to play today or not. No Terry Rozier. I just feel like that kind of catches up here. You guys already gave out all the numbers as far as, home versus road and all that good stuff. I just think that if Caruso plays, I think he has a tremendous impact on the defensive end to slow down a guy like Tyler Hero, which we expect the ball to be in his hands a lot.
Better be.
And yeah, I know, it gotta be, right? Like who else? Like Jaime Jaquez Jr. and who else? Like I just feel like Miami's gonna run out of offense. In the Bulls, they do have the veteran, in my opinion, here with DeMar DeRozan, and I think he does present matchup problems because you mentioned it, Kyle. You go through and just kind of look at the shot zones. The Bulls like to live in that mid-range shot zone. Last 2 weeks, 4th in mid-range frequency, 6th in mid-range frequency, 4th in mid-range accuracy, and that's been Miami's weak spot. Like they've been doing a much better job against the three, even though they couldn't stop Batum. But they are 24th in frequency, in opponent frequency, and 30th in all mid-range opponent frequency, allowing teams to shoot almost 50% from the mid-range shot. And that's where the Bulls like to take a lot of their shots from. So if I got DeRozan, I got Kobe White, who look good, and I don't expect him to have even near similar offensive type game because this isn't Trae Young out there on the defensive end tonight. So I don't think he'll be as effective. But I do think Chicago, to me, the line just feels short, right? Like the Bulls, doesn't it feel like Miami should be laying more than?
Without Butler, I feel like it makes sense.
Well, I'm just like we can really get the Bulls at plus 1.5 here. Even with the culture history that Spoelstra has and this team getting all the way to the finals last year. Now in the most meaningful game of the season, we can just get him at plus 1.5. So I think the line makers, in my opinion, are telling us a story that Chicago really has a chance to win this game. So in totality, I think if Caruso plays, I think that'll be enough to get behind Chicago as a short dog here on the road in a winner-take-all type atmosphere. I think Chicago will need his defense, and I think Miami, a team that is often counted out, when a player goes down, will miss Jimmy Butler, not just on the offensive end, but on the defensive end as well. He had like 4 steals the other day, like in the first half, and I think that we know Miami can struggle to score, and I also think that it hurts them defensively for DeRozan. Like, who's going to be out there to match up with DeRozan? I could see Jaime Jaquez Jr. getting in early foul trouble, Caleb Martin having to be their primary defender. So Chicago plus 1.5. Like I said, I haven't bet it yet, but I am going to get to the window.
I have bet it. I'm on the Bulls. And someone said, someone said in all capital letters, why isn't the spread move with money coming in on the Bulls? Dude, we're in the postseason now. These lines are super sharp, and they're taking a ton of action. You're not going to see the line move 3-4 points like a regular season market. You're not going to see that. It just does. We're in the playoffs now.
And it opened at 3 too, Kyle. Like it has come down.
Yeah. It was at 2 this morning at 9 a.m. But you're not going to see like the 3-4 point movements like that unless there's a huge injury update. Not in these markets. Second game.
It did say, I think I saw that Caruso was probable. Right, so I think he should be in the lineup.
He's just been questionable. He's one of those guys that, like, when he's questionable, I don't even. A Caruso questionable counts as a probable. It's like a LeBron James questionable because he's dealing with. It's one of those things where he's dealing with a lingering injury and he needs to get cleared by the team doctor every day at a certain time to be cleared to play. That's how they do that. If you're wondering how that works, like you say, it's a knee injury. The doctor will be like, you're good to play, but on game day, I need to check you at 3 p.m. Eastern time to make sure the swelling isn't here. That's how that works. It's not like they're just like playing games with you. It's an actual medical. But anyway, so Kings Pelicans. I mean, you guys know where I'm at. Why would I bail on the horse that got me here? And I guess there's a lot of people that will be like, oh, why is this line so short? But the market doesn't flood like that. So if you remember, just a couple nights ago, the Kings were catching 3 at home. So catching 3 at home, which means the odds makers was telling us there's a 7.5 point gap between Golden State and Sacramento on a neutral court. That's what that line was telling us, which is why I bet Sacramento. Like, that's not true. The gap isn't that big. So now, how could you say this line's short for the Kings? You think the Kings should be laying more? Are you saying the gap between Golden State and the Pelicans is like 16 points? No, this line feels about right to me, especially on the road in New Orleans. The Pelicans aren't the only ones missing a piece. Monk and Kevin Huerter are out. So Kings also missing pieces. Both teams missing pieces that are going to affect them on the offensive end. I'm on the Kings here. See no reason to bail on them. I actually took the money line at minus 118, so I lost a little value there because you could probably get a better price on that right now. But yeah, are the Pelicans going to have 3-point looks? Probably. The Pelicans have been shooting the outside shot well, but without Zion Williamson on the floor to collapse the defense, I think the Kings are able to put a little more. It gives them a little bit more flexibility on the defensive end to put more pressure on the perimeter. If there's no Zion on the court to get you 30 points in the paint, then why are the Kings going to collapse on anybody? Who else on the Pelicans roster really scares you? I mean, they should be able to put more pressure on the perimeter and dare the Pelicans to come drive and attack the rim. So I like what the position the Kings are in and the way that they're going to be able to attack this game. Do I have a ton of faith in the Kings offensively here? Not really. Kings offense hasn't looked great. The defense has played great, but the Kings offense, ever since the injuries, the last couple months of the year, the Kings offense hasn't been up to par. But the Pelicans' defense against a 3-point shot has been abysmal. One of the worst in basketball. I mean, shit, we just saw the Lakers shoot the lights out from 3 against them. The Lakers aren't even an outside shooting team like that. So this is a Kings team that takes 47% of their shots from 3. They like to launch from out there. Keegan Bradley shooting the ball really well right now. I expect the Kings to have a 3-point party in New Orleans tonight. The thing is, I don't really trust the rest of the Kings offense. So, I mean, I'm convinced I'm on the right side. I expect pretty much most of the action to be coming in on this side as well. Looks like there's some sharp money coming in on New Orleans. I don't care. I like my spot here with Sacramento. Either you guys like the Pellies?
Go ahead.
So I didn't take this game at all. So the only bet that I had was the Heat. In this game, initially I was looking towards the Kings. I mean, I even put Kings on the bracket when we talked about it the other day. But when I when I did my deep dive, there was some things that I saw on the Pelican side that kind of scared me and that kind of ultimately just kept me off of the game. One thing that I think if people really caught the under at the 218, 217 and a half, I think that was the way to go. But now I think now that we're seeing like 210s and a half, I think there's a chance that it actually could go over this current number. So I would probably stay away from the total here. Ultimately lean to the under. But if you look at that Pelicans game, other than the second quarter, the Pelicans actually won. The rest of that game. They lost the second quarter by 18 points, and that was the difference maker in that game. In the end of the game, even when they got close, I think they were like down 2 or whatever it might have been. They still didn't have CJ, BI, or JV in the lineup. They all three of them played less than 30 minutes. I'm not really sure what they were doing from a coaching aspect at that point. I mean, maybe they were riding the hot hand, but I mean, you got these stars on the bench that you could have put in there that were fresh. And those are the types of guys that you need to kind of put your you gotta like rely on basically. So I don't know what they were doing. Maybe they were trying to duck the Nuggets or whatever it might be, but now they're gonna have to play the Kings without Zion. I know you mentioned some stuff without Zion, but one of the things that I saw, they played, the Pelicans beat the Kings in all 5 matchups this season, right? One of those games they didn't have Zion, and they won that game by 33 points. And what you look at in that game is the fact that the Pelicans were able to shoot the 3 ball pretty consistently. And if you look on the season, that's what the Kings struggle to defend, the above the break 3. I think on the season, they're actually dead last in above the break 3 defensive field goal percentage or whatever it might be. Obviously, their defense has turned up towards the end of the season. But I mean, the only thing that I could think of is the Pelicans turning into this jump shooting team, them being successful, and the Kings struggling without Herter and Monk. So I ultimately stayed away from the side here, but I'm pretty much leaning towards the Pelicans.
Leaning towards the Pelicans. Okay. Put it up. Chris, what side are you on?
I am on the Sacramento side.
Welcome to the dark side. You'll enjoy your stay here.
I'm on the island on both games.
Yep.
Let's go.
He's on the island games. These are tough games, man. Just for people that are listening. It isn't like we, super duper decisive and, got 10 units on any of these plays. But Sacramento here for me. I think, looking at the spot, first thing I think you took it right out of my nose, Kyle, is the Zion effect, right? Like I think without him, this is a jump shot shooting team that won't necessarily be able to get to the rim to get those outside looks that RC mentioned them being able to knock down. The Kings finished 0-5 this season straight up against the Pelicans. They lost the in-season tournament game, like the game towards the in-season tournament game, all of them. So you could say that they own them, or you could say this is 5-time revenge. Zion played in 4 of those games. The one game that he didn't play, they still got smoked. They lost 133-1 they won 133 to 100. And that was a game that Fox didn't shoot well. He only had 3 points. I think Keegan Murray only had 8 points. He was a minus 31 and only shot 2 for 9 from the field. And Monk also played, but he didn't contribute much. He only had 6 points and he was 2 for 9 from the field. And of course, he's not going to be available here. Here's the problem that I have with the Pelicans. They're not defending well recently. On the season, they did finish as the 8th overall defense as far as points allowed per 100 possessions. But over the last 2 weeks, down to 19th. They've allowed 116.5 points per 100 possessions, whereas the Kings, they've been a top 10 defense, 8th specifically in points allowed per 100 possessions. And based on that game against the Golden State Warriors, granted it was at home, they were able to hold their offense to less than 100 points. I think that this team is kind of bought into Coach Mike Brown's defensive philosophy. And even against the three-point shot, where they've struggled, like RC mentioned, throughout the whole season, and that's the shot that the Pelicans like to shoot, they held Golden State in the most meaningful game of the season to 34% shooting from the three-point line. I think that's important here.
And
I think that
what you just said, it wasn't Golden State missing open shots either. They were swarming on the perimeter.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let Golden State get a look from out there.
Clay didn't want to ride off into the sunset to Orlando shooting 0 for 10 and 0 for 6 from 3. Like I don't think he had that on.
That was
on
not
his
part of the plan
for the night. Yeah, it was not part of the plan. So I think the defense travels here. We got to remember Sacramento was a good road team. They finished 12-6 straight up on the road as favorites. Pels continue to struggle at home as well after the All-Star break. They were 5-10 straight up, and they've lost 6 straight. Failed to cover 6 straight spreads at home as well. So, like for whatever reason, playing in Smoothie King Center just isn't been well for them. And thinking about that Pels, the defense, you mentioned this, Cal. Pel's 3-point defense. It was ranked top 2 over the course of the whole season. They held teams to about 35.5%. But opponents actually shot the second most above the break threes and the third most threes overall in the last 2 weeks and shot them at 38%, which puts them bottom 8 defending the 3-point line. I think that's significant because Sacramento's been shooting a ton of threes. They actually, over the last 2 weeks, Sacramento ranks 4th in corner 3 frequency, 6th in above the break 3 frequency, and number 1 in overall 3-point frequency. So I'll take the better defensive team, the team that's playing in better form right now, to win the game without Zion being in here. So I did play this one. I like Sacramento. I actually got the same exact thing you did, Cal. I got them at minus 118. And of course, I think we lost some value here because now they flipped to being a dog again. But I like Sacramento on the money line here.
Let's do it, Kings. I mean, Ronald, still time for you to buy in, grab yourself a Kings ticket. I promise. Come on in. The water's fine.
But I'm just saying, like, initially I was on the Kings, but some of the things that I looked at just took me off.
If Zion was playing, I would take the Pelicans here. But I saw what the Kings defense just did to Golden State. They were swarming them on the perimeter. They wouldn't let Golden State get an open look from outside. And the reason is Golden State really doesn't have somebody that can slash and get to the basket and give you problems. You saw Kuminga do it a little bit. Pelicans do, but he's not playing in this game. So without Zion, is there anybody on the Pelicans roster that Sacramento's like, we can't let this guy just start driving to the rim on us? There's really not anybody there. Valanciunas could have a big game, though. I could see Valanciunas being a problem. In fact, if I'm New Orleans, I'm not a head coach, obviously, but I'm dumping the ball into Valanciunas a lot early to try to throw the Kings off of that defensive game plan. But yeah, our poll likes the Kings pretty heavily here, 66%, 65%, 23% on the Kings.
Hey, Cal, can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
If to both of you guys, if you had to play with both of these totals dropping significantly so far, if you had to play an over, which one would it be?
I like both overs, but I took both overs on Tuesday night, and both games went under. So it's got me scared to play the totals the next night. So I took both overs on Tuesday night. They both lost. I went 1-1 against the spread on Tuesday. Wednesday night, I said, screw the totals. I'm just playing against the spread. And then I got them both, Heat plus the points and Kings. So I was like, I'm scared of totals right now, but I like both overs. But I mean, 211.5 tells the story.
I kind of agree. Kyle. What you think, Ozzy?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, on this game here specifically, like if you got the 218, I would have definitely took the under. I missed it. They didn't have it available to me. But, I mean, at this number, I could see it going over. The Heat game, I really do think that both teams are going to struggle offensively. I would still look towards the under in that one.
We're going to do one more quick.
I didn't bet the totals either. I mean, I'm just, like I said, I'm only betting, I'm on the Heat only.
So, wait, the total in the Miami-Chicago is 206.5. So, I'm just do a quick poll, and then we'll get on to MLB. It's favorite total. So we'll go Chicago, Miami under 206.5. Chicago, Miami over 206.5. Sacramento, New Orleans under 211.5. Sacramento, New Orleans over 211.5. All right. Before we move on to MLB, vote for your favorite total of the night, and let's see what the community feels here. Give them a few seconds to vote. Someone said if Alex Len plays, they're taking under a half assist at plus 135. But I don't think he was like making a joke. He was really, really considering that play. Does he never pass or something?
Alex Len?
Yeah.
Probably not. Usually he's just like a putback guy who just sits in the paint.
I was going to say he never gets in, does he?
He definitely, I saw him, he made a couple plays in the Golden State game. He definitely made like one really nice play where he like saved the ball from going out of bounds. I remember that because I was like, who the hell is that? I was like, oh shit, that's Alex Len.
Taking JaVale McGee minutes.
And everyone was trashing me before I said Keegan Bradley because I bet Keegan Bradley as one of my bets in the Masters to finish in the top 20. It's obviously Keegan Murray. I'm sure you all knew who I meant. But it looks like everyone's favorite total, Chicago, Miami, over 206.5. So the over in Bulls Heat. All right.
They played, 4 times, Kyle? And I think 3-1 to the over. Is it
3-1 to the over? Yeah.
3-1 to the over, yeah. And they went over by 8 points or more in every single one of them, too. I understand all the chips being on the table, but, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
What were the totals in those games?
There was 206, and those were 212, 219, I think, RC, and like a 216, I think, when I looked at it this morning.
I like the over. I honestly, I could see myself ending when that game tips, having a ticket on the over.
Me too, Kyle. Me too. The problem is, though, Kyle, and this is to RC's point, I know you're going to say this as well, the way these games go under is because you have like 5 minutes with a team just not scoring at all. And you look up in this third quarter and they got like 36 points. You're like, what? Like,
I know.
Yeah,
So
it's that pace. The pace is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Neither team really likes to get out on fast break and transition. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right,
I just wanted you guys' thoughts.
Yeah, for sure. Let's move on to some MLB baseball.
Oh yeah, I'm out of here.
Whoa. Where am I? Hold on. It said, I sent Prop Beaver and Toast the wrong link. 1 second.
I'll drop my only play in the MLB today though.
Yeah, let's hit us.
I did take the Brewers.
The Brewers?
I took the Brewers on the money line. Yeah.
All right. You Capper likes the Brewers. I'll bring it up when we get to that game.
All right, guys. Well, good luck. Tell the guys I don't see them yet, but tell the guys good luck.
Yeah. Well, so hopefully they can get in here. I don't know what's going on with that. I might have to make a new room. But all right, later, man.
See ya.
Let's call Prop Beaver, see if it's working. All right, I'm just going to make a new room because apparently it's not working. Oh, never mind. Here comes Prop Beaver now. What's up, man? It is working. You're fading Ronald's pick of the day? You're fading the Brew Crew?
But yeah, I'm definitely fading the Brew Crew. All over the Cardinals today, baby. Card up.
All right. Well, we got Commish here.
Don't worry, Ronald. I got your back.
You and half the country.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
You
I did
guys
it last
enjoy
night.
yourselves.
I'm not worried about it.
If you're
No. Good luck, bet it.
You're only taking the Cardinals because half the country's on the Brewers. You don't have any analytics to back it up.
No, I mean Freddie Peralta just doesn't win against the Cardinals. So
The old Cardinals.
no, the current Cardinals 951 OPS doesn't have good numbers against them. I'm happily on my Cardinals side.
All right, let's get the poll running for the first game. It says it looks like Commish is trying to join. It says loading. All right, first game is Angels at Cincinnati.
I had a bad feeling as soon as I saw the line go back down because I was going to bet the Brewers at 115 last night. I went to go bet it. It was up to 130. So I bet it at 130 thinking it was going to keep on going up, but it went right back down.
Yeah.
It looks like Commish is trying to join, but it just says loading on his screen.
What got me on it was the bullpen situation.
See, I'm not even worried about it because they had the 2 days off prior.
All right, so we'll just start, and if Commish is able to join, we'll get him in here. So Angels on the road in Cincinnati. Property Rush, I saw you tweeting about Lodolo before.
Yeah, the books were being pretty weird this morning. They didn't have him listed for like half of the day, despite the fact that every site had projected him as the starter. And then about like 2 hours ago, they finally said he's starting. So I was waiting to drop my play on that, but I actually wound up getting a better number because they actually announced him starting. So I'm happy.
What is your play?
I took the Angels' first 5 team total over 2.5. I got that at plus 125 on Hard Rock. I know that Lodolo looked incredible in his return from injury at Chicago. 5.2 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 0 runs, 10 Ks. It was awesome to see him back in the MLB in such crisp form. But can we acknowledge who he played? He played a White Sox lineup that's 29th in WRC+, 29th in ISO, and 30th in OBP against lefties thus far. This is a polar opposite matchup against an Angels lineup that has smashed lefties through the minuscule sample size they've been provided. They're 4th in WRC+, 5th in ISO, 2nd in OBP, but the issue is that they only have 94 plate appearances against lefties, 2nd fewest in the MLB. They only faced 2 lefties thus far, Puck and Luzardo. They combined for 9.1 innings, 7 runs, 9 hits, 5 walks. Puck's ass, but Luzardo's pretty good, so I'll take that. But even if you take away this year's numbers, this was a lineup I was very high on against lefties heading into the season. 7 members with a WRC plus of 117 or more against lefties the last 3 seasons. 6 members with an ISO above 200 against lefties the last 3 seasons. 5 members with a walk rate of above 10% against lefties the last 3 seasons. And I'm a bit scared about Lodolo returning back to Great American Ballpark, where he's allowed a lot more traffic on the bases. The WOBA goes up about 60 points. The whip increases about 40 points. On top of that, Lodolo, he's a day walker. He's not a night crawler. His night numbers are pretty rough. 5.64 ERA, 4.04 WOBA, 2-point run home run per 9, 5.59 FIP. Lodolo's start at Chicago was on the road and during the day his best spot. Home night starts have been a nightmare to this guy. He's allowed his opponents over 5 of 6 home night starts, averaging 4.33, and allowed his opponents over in 8 of 12 night starts in general, averaging 3.3. So I think that at plus 125, I will happily back this Angels lineup that I've been gassing up against lefties to go in there and smash an overvalued Lodolo. Only a 1-game sample size. We've seen Lodolo look excellent before. We've also seen him look really bad, and I wouldn't be shocked if this is one of those spots.
All right. Well, based on what you said, I would lean towards the over because there's no way I'd back Tyler Anderson to throw back-to-back good starts, especially on the road in Great American Ballpark. So based on if you don't trust Lodolo and you think Lodolo and you think the Angels are going to get to him, I would look over. Toast.
Yeah, I was actually trying to look over as well. And then obviously I used Beaver's cheat sheet. I know how well the Angels are against left-handed pitchers. So I actually took the Angels team total over 4.5 at plus 100 or plus 105. But either way, this Angels team is scoring runs, and I understand it's been against righties, but 7 of the last 10 games, they've scored 4+ runs. You add on the fact that they're in Great America Ballpark, where the ball seems to fly. I mean,
do I have a
like
graphic for this?
No.
All right.
But I'll take my chances with the team getting full 9 at bats in Great America Ballpark with a Reds bullpen that is rested. I'll give you that, but not a team I really trust outside of the bullpen. So I'll take my chances with 9 at bats.
That's 4.5.
4.5
plus 100 or plus 105.
All right, hold on 1 second. All right, Commish.
I don't have anything really more to add on this game. The weather doesn't look fantastic. About 60 degrees. Looks like a light wind blowing out, which definitely favors the offense. Both of these offenses, top 9 in OPS against left-handed pitching so far. Really sharp guy that I work with is on the Reds team total over 4.5. I could definitely see that. I mean, Toast really sharp, off to a great start to the season, over 4.5 on the Angels team total. I think if you like either one of these teams today, I think the over makes sense in my opinion.
Oh, so
the reason that
not a sharp. I guess I'm not a sharp.
that
Jesus.
All right, so
What do you want, Beaver? I didn't see.
He likes
I'm
first
Angels
5
first
teams
5.
over. All right, over 9.
Oh, we got everybody.
The reason that I got off the Reds over.
Sorry, I was having tech issues, Beaver.
Okay.
All
Sorry,
right,
I didn't mean that as a slight. Truly.
I was like, wow. I mean, this guy.
let's move on to the next game. White
just really
Sox.
quickly, Sauce.
Yeah.
I want to add, Strand isn't going to be in the lineup, which is like a huge bat, especially against lefties for the Reds. So with Fraley in the lineup, that's like one more bat that's a bad bat against lefties. So I just had to throw that out there. That's what scared me off the over.
Commish, what are your thoughts on Turnbull? Prop Beaver actually likes him.
I don't like him very much. I don't. His sweeper is pretty good. Like his sweeper profiles as a plus pitch. I think the fastball's terrible. He doesn't sequence very well in my opinion. Like I just don't think he's a very good pitcher. I know the matchup is very, very good for him tonight, but I just can't get there. I might play Turnbull over 4.5 hits allowed if I bet this game. I have a bunch of other action across the slate tonight. So, and Friday has been my worst betting day historically with baseball, with the travel days starting the weekend. For whatever reason, Fridays are usually my worst days betting wise, and I already have a big card. But Turnbull over 4.5 hits allowed would be my play here.
Turnbull over 4.5 hits allowed. Prop Beaver, do you have anything to rebut that? Because I know Turnbull's your guy.
No. I mean, not to really rebut it. If the White Sox are bad, that would be the only thing that rebuts that. They're pissed, but I mean, No, if he thinks Turnbull's bad, he probably thinks he's bad. I don't know. We have a very small sample size with him this year, and we have 1 year last year where he was horrible, and then the year before that where he was excellent. So, I mean, it's really up in the air what this guy's going to turn out to be in the MLB. Yeah, I got nothing for this game. This is gross. Pass.
Toast?
Yeah, this is like the one or two games I passed on, and this is one of them. So I don't really know what to expect from Turnbull, but I have a hard time believing he's that bad personally. I think that everybody can have a down year. And what we've seen from him so far this year has all been positive. Pittsburgh's, a pretty damn decent team. So I understand he only went 4 innings and gave up 3 runs. But he issued 4 walks. And that's not something that he's really done. So I think that was just a bad day for him. And then Crochet started out the gate really, really hot and then just got lit up by the Reds. I understand that the Phillies can hit left-handed pitching, but at the same time, do I trust the Phillies to do that? No. So I'm not going to pay that price. So it's just a pass for me as well.
What about the first 5 under? You'd have to take it at 4, but you can get a 4 at -110. Crochet in a bounce back spot against a Phillies lineup. I know you guys like the Phillies against lefties better though.
If you needed to play something, I think that would be it.
Yeah, I guess that
I'll
would
put
be
it up
gun to my head.
myself.
That would be it. I just worry about
I worry about Crochet too.
Same.
Yeah, he looked good
Same.
those first 2 games, but that's the only sample size where he was that dominant.
Yeah, but Philly's a disgusting lineup.
I know.
They are a
that's
disgrace.
I get that. That's where it's so hard. You can go back and forth.
All right. Next game. Boston on the road in Pittsburgh.
The only other game that I passed on.
All right, so this is a pass for Toast.
Yeah, I really like to back Bello here in the first 5, but I do not trust that Boston lineup in any way, shape, or form. And I don't really even think that Priester is going to be that bad with this watered down Boston lineup. So, and I actually think that the Pittsburgh lineup probably has a little bit of an advantage now. So, yeah, it's just a pass for me.
Commish, you going back to the Red Sox?
No, Bobby Dalbec's in the lineup. Absolutely not. No.
So this
no
is
Rafi Devers. Really, I'm looking at this lineup. Tristan Casas is the only guy that really stands out to me as an above-average bat. I don't know how anybody gets to the Red Sox here. I'm interested to see how Quinn Priester looks in this spot. Beaver sent over some really good notes earlier on him in the minor leagues, but I feel like you have to bet Pittsburgh or don't bet anything here, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Yeah, in the line you would think would be drawing a lot of people over to Boston.
Yeah.
I'll put up Pirates for myself as a possible. Let's see what Prop Beaver thinks first.
Yeah, at first I was leaning with the Red Sox through the first 5. I was hoping that when Devers got announced out, we'd be able to kind of get a plus odds on Bello through the first 5, and I was like, okay, maybe that I could deal with. The Red Sox should have at least 6 lefties in the lineup. Quinn Priester was horrible against lefties last year. He's even struggled against lefties in the minors where he's looked improved this season. But they started 5 lefties, and one of the righties is Bobby Dalbec, who can only hit lefties. So it's just such poor lineup construction to the point where I don't want to back that team. And Bello, I do love you, but I don't trust the guys behind you in that pen. They've looked inconsistent at best, especially lately. Sure, Pittsburgh's 23rd in ERA, but they're top 10 in WOBA, FIP, XFIP. That pen is due to come around. I would play the Pirates on the full game here. A lot of people were high on Priester headed into last year, and he really disappointed, but he was a universal top 100 prospect headed in. So,
on top of the fact that Boston is the worst team defensively in Major League Baseball, so it's only a matter of time before they give up a couple runs for free.
Unfortunately,
what about Bobby Dalbec under a half hits?
Yeah,
is that guy that bad? Or you're gonna bet him?
He's really bad against righties. I don't even understand why he's in the lineup against a righty. It's useless.
I don't understand how he's not anybody else.
I don't have a Pirates money line graphic for some reason, so I'll just have to. Andy gonna Andy.
I'm gonna do this right now. I'm gonna play Bobby Dalbec small under a half hits just in protest.
What are the odds at?
-105, -105.
You're really gonna bet that?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Dalbec under hits. All right, there you go.
Protesting the Red Sox.
It's just a protest bet.
Since 2022, Bobby Dalbec a 185 average versus right-handed pitching. 235 on base. Just a monster. Just an absolute
235
monster.
on base. My
Just a
God.
monster.
All right, let's move on to the next game. Oh, what the heck happened here? Why is my thing off-centered? I don't know why the screen's like off-centered here. All right, Toast, what are your thoughts on Houston, Washington?
Over. I played over 8 here. We're getting Justin Verlander coming off of an injury, and he didn't really look particularly good in the minor leagues. But to be honest, like I actually trust this Washington team at the plate. I mean, CJ Abrams is really good right now. I understand that they're coming home from a long East or West Coast road trip, but they did have a day off. Mackenzie Gore's been really, really good, but he hasn't really faced a lineup that's as potent as the Astros. I understand the Astros have been bad, but they do excel against left-handed pitching. I don't really trust either one of these bullpens on top of that. So I'll take my chances with the over 8 here.
Well, I'll bring Prop Beaver up because I know he's going to say Astros against lefties on the road. Am I right?
Are still good.
Yeah, I know. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
Let's bet the
I
Astros.
think I even wrote that in my write-up. I was like, Beaver would say that this is their best split.
Oh, no, I would not bet the Stros.
What? This is what you say.
No, I said their best split.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Astros on the road against
I'm
righties.
not backing Justin Verlander at that price. Have you seen his rehab starts? Let me go ahead and refresh you on how Justin Verlander's looked in his 2 rehab starts. He's made it 7 total innings.
You're basing
he has
this
a 14.14 ERA and a 2.29 WHIP.
Dude, he's a 38. He's a
14.
He's a veteran. He might have gone on there
ERA.
and just working on one pitch. You don't need this. All right. If there's one dude
Right,
where you shouldn't
if
read
he
into-
used that time against somewhat MLB action to just go in there and fucking play around, then he's going to get killed.
Serious question. You think Justin Verlander going into a rehab start, what's on his mind is, I better put up good numbers? No, his mind's on getting healthy. He doesn't give a shit about the numbers. He's trying to make sure his pitches are working.
Yeah, they surely weren't working.
If there's one person that
whatever hitters saw them were cranking them sideways. So yeah, definitely not backing Verlander here. I just don't know what to do here because I feel like I missed all the value on this Verlander K's line. It was at 5.5 and between 4.5. I was trying to be good to the VIPs and wait and see where that consensus goes. And then it dropped from 5.5 minus 160 to 4.5 at minus 150. So the line's completely fucked. There's still some books that have 4.5 at plus 102, but it was at plus 120 earlier. So I kind of feel like an idiot if I give it out because I feel like the value's gone. But yeah, I still think Verlander under 4.5 Ks is the move. Let me just go through it real quick. Obviously, the rehab starts were bad, but what I'm looking at here is the fact that last year, the ERA, the home run per 9, they were fine, but the K to BB percentage, 14.8, that was his worst mark since 2014. And since 2022, we've seen a 6% decrease in K percentage on the road compared to where it is at home. Last year, just an 18.5 K percentage in road night starts. That would imply that Verlander would need to see 27 batters to hit this total. Considering he didn't make it past the 4th in either rehab start, I have a hard time believing he goes past 5 here unless he's unequivocally dominating, especially after the Stros got the day off yesterday. And it's hard to see 27 batters in 5 innings, even if you're getting rocked. And at that point, you would need quite the leech to stay in the game. Verlander's already under 4.5 his last 6 to 12 road starts going back to last year. Now faces a lineup, a Nats lineup that is amongst the best in the league and not striking out against righties. 8th in K percentage against righties through the first 5. According to Props.Cash, all but one righty against the Nats have gone under their total thus far. And that was Hunter Green, who seemingly couldn't miss a K over if he tried. So I think the move here is Verlander under Ks. If you don't like the price, which I don't know how I feel about it, you would go over 8 at minus 150, and I would ride with Toast. Because Mackenzie Gore, I like him, but Astros smash lefties, and Verlander, I'm not loving the shape he's coming in, and that Astros pen is pissed right now.
I mean, yeah, the Astros have multiple guys have blown saves in that bullpen over the last week and a half. I mean, so it's not just one guy.
Horrendous.
Yeah.
Commish, do you agree that a veteran of Verlander's stature, you don't really need to look too deep into the numbers of a rehab start?
I do agree with you on that. I put very little stock into what he's done in these 2 rehab starts, but I 100,000% agree with Beaver on every part of the analysis. Last 10 years, there's been 11 pitchers age 41 or older to throw at least 100 innings in a season. The only guy with better than a 20% K rate, Rich Hill. Everybody else really, really struggled to get strikeouts. None of those guys have really been good in terms of run prevention either. There was only Bartolo. Rich Hill had one good season, and Bartolo Colon. Those are only 2 guys 41 years or older that have managed a sub-4 FIP at age 41 or older. Last year, Verlander's velo was down, a lot more contact than the year before. There's so many reasons. I mean, I had my notes up from my Substack this morning, and I had way too many paragraphs about how many different ways we should fade Justin Verlander tonight. I took the Nationals team total over 2.5. I have no idea why that was a default line at any point today. And then I also played him plus money over 3.5. I like toast angle on the over 8 as well. I agree with both of these guys. I think Mackenzie Gore under on his outs recorded is worth a look. I think there's going to be runs. The weather's not amazing in this game tonight, but both of these lineups should be able to push some runs across the board. I really don't love either one of these pitchers. So I think I'm on the same page as all these guys up here. Whether you're looking at Verlander's rehab starts or you're looking at historical numbers, systems, whatever, I think runs, and I don't think many strikeouts for Verlander.
Well, here's the thing with what you just said. You said you talked about pitchers that were 40 plus or 41 plus or whatever you said.
Yep.
You talk about to reach sub-4 FIP. Man, you do not need to have a sub-4 FIP to beat the Nationals, especially in a spot where I think the Astros are going to tag Mackenzie Gore, who's due for a tagging. The Astros line up against lefties on the road. I like them to get to Mackenzie Gore. I don't need Verlander to be a sub-4 FIP pitcher to win this game. Those are my thoughts.
You could take the Astros money line. I wouldn't talk you off the Astros money line, but if they're going to win, I think they're going to have to score 4 or 5 runs, and at that point, I would just rather have the over.
We'll have 5 up in the third.
Perfect.
Well, yeah, over's going to look great.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll write /over. Maybe I'll.
I also, just for everybody that likes props, I like CJ Abrams over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs minus 120. I'm probably going to continue to play that just for the record.
Very nice. Commish, you are my umpire expert. What are your thoughts on Corey Blazer?
On Corey Blazer?
Yeah. That's the guy who's umping tonight against Verlander, and if it's at plus 102, I'm gonna need a decent guy out there.
Put him on the spot, throw a random umpire name out there.
He always said to me that if I needed a question about an umpire, I could ask him.
Yeah, Blazer's pretty neutral. I have in my notes. You would think I would memorize these guys' names over times, but I seriously only have probably like 5 or 10 committed to memory.
No, I definitely didn't expect you to memorize it. I just thought
that's 5 or 10 more than I expected anyone to have memorized.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say, like, piece of betting advice, I don't know how anybody bets K-props without looking at umpires. I truly, like, even today, Tyone went under 4.5 strikeouts, but if you watch that game, he had so many opportunities to flirt with a fifth K, just because the umpire strike zone gave him an extra 2 inches on both corners, high, low. It really fundamentally changes the game. And it's even, some of these guys are even so bad that even like Alex McKay, who was behind the plate today in the Cubs game, tough guy to even bet an over with him because the strike zone is so big. And like people don't realize the difference between 1-0 or 0-1 or, you know, a 2-1 count or 1-2 count, that dramatically shifts pitch sequencing, approach at the plate, everything. So I cannot stress enough how important umpires are as long as we do not have robot strike zones.
Yeah.
Umpire scorecards grades them out pretty decent, Beaver. So
yeah, I'll give a peep.
Rays on the road in Yankee Stadium here. Tyler Alexander getting the start. Former Detroit Tiger. Tyler Alexander is a lefty, correct, Prop Eva?
Yes.
So what do we think about his spot on the road here against in Yankee Stadium? Yankees lineup definitely cooled off a bit, but we know they always hit better at home in Yankee Stadium. Schmitty also pitches better at home in Yankee Stadium. Minus 175 is just expensive in a division rivalry game, but I don't see any way to take Tampa here unless you have something.
No, I mean, you want to know what I think? I think the Rays flat out stink right now. I think the bullpen is an abomination. I think the hitting's been beyond subpar, and I think the starting pitching, while good, can't mask that despite their best efforts. Now they're going to roll into Alexander out there, who's by far the worst starter on their roster. I mean, 3 starts thus far, 6.46 ERA, 3 home runs per 9, 1.63 whip. He's been awful. And while the Yankees have slowed down a bit lately, definitely, they've still been great against lefties on the year, 8th in WRC+, 5th in OBP. The only reason this is not going to be an official bet of mine, because I do like it, is because all of a sudden, Clark Schmidt's splits have made a complete 180. The past 2 years, this would be a dream spot for Clark Schmidt, as the Rays are starting 7+ right-handed batters. 2022 to 2023, you could not back this guy against a lefty-heavy lineup, but against righty-heavy lineups, he was awesome. This season, all of a sudden, he's getting absolutely destroyed by righties, and is doing phenomenally against lefties. And it's not like normally when you see that, sometimes you see the XFIP suggest that it's going to regress. Even the XFIP is saying that, listen, he is doing much better right now against lefties and righties, and it is deserved. So that kind of scares me a bit. And then on top of that, Schmidt recorded a loss in 3 straight starts against Tampa, 5.74 ERA, didn't even allow a home run in that. Now, the saving grace for a Yankees double result here is that the Rays bats stink out loud right now. The last 8 righties to face them have combined for a 2.78 ERA, and they only faced 2 impressive arms during that span. But I don't know. This is not one I'm going to get to the window to. I feel like I saw the Yankees money line at like minus 155 when I woke up this morning. That was the time to strike. So at the current price, I'd probably sit out. But yeah.
Also, Clark Schmidt, 5 walks in his, which he actually pitched decently in Cleveland. He got the win, but 5 walks in that game. Tampa, not a lineup that walks a lot, though, right?
Not a lineup that walks a lot.
Tampa, right? Aren't they a
no,
strikeout lineup?
Not particularly, no. Exactly. They're pretty K-heavy.
Right. So what about Clark Schmidt to record a win? Honestly, what I want to do is right here. This is where I'm leaning. Let's see what Commish thinks, but I know this is a cardinal sin to do this with a home team, but minus 1.5, man. The Rays are trash. Clark Schmidt's better at home. I know, Prop Beaver, you're a little concerned with Clark Schmidt's splits so far this season, but he's only made 1 home start. And, I mean, his last start against Cleveland, maybe he's getting himself together, and now at home against a lineup that he should be able to have a good game. I think Clark Schmidt's going to pitch well. So I like Clark Schmidt to pitch well, and it's Tyler Alexander on the road in Yankee Stadium. You shouldn't need any more of a pitch than that. So I think this is a Yankee smash spot. And I get the entire world's going to be on it. We're probably paying a terrible price for it, but I kind of feel like it's going to have a high hit rate. So why not just do it? That's what I'm thinking. But I'll write it down. I want to hear what Toast and Commish have to say first. Commish, you're muted.
You're muted.
Oh, my bad. If you'd like the Yankees to win tonight comfortably, I would just take the team total over 4.5. In my mind, the offense should score. Tampa Bay's bullpen's been really bad. They used a couple of high leverage guys yesterday. They had to travel. There's a lot of reasons to like the Yankees bats tonight. There's, I think, some valid reasons to be concerned about Clark Schmidt. I think Beaver mentioned the splits changing a little bit. For whatever reason, this makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. He's upped his sinker usage by about 10 percentage points to right-handed batters this year, throwing less sweepers and less curveballs. I have no idea who suggested this. If this was the Yankees' newfound analytics department that we talked about so much during the offseason, this makes no sense. His sinker last year was absolutely tattooed by right-handed batters. This year, they decided to throw it even more against right-handed batters. So I think the splits, as long as we continue to see this pitch usage, is actually a real concern. The hard part is, it is still so early in the season that you just have to wonder, has he just not had a good grip on that ball in colder weather environments? I really have no idea. But I'm with Beaver a little bit here. I would rather minimize the Clark Schmidt impact on this as much as possible. So if you like the Yankees, I would back them. A double result makes sense to me, or a team total probably makes more sense in my opinion.
Are you saying you're considering that, or are you giving me that as advice? Are you saying if you like the Yankees? Because that's a weird way to phrase it. That's more
like my advice. I'm gonna bet the Yankees in some capacity tonight. I haven't decided how yet.
Okay.
But I really don't love them as a side, and it's more so a price thing for me. I think the Yankees are the side. It's just I don't love paying this price.
Oh, it's definitely expensive, without a doubt. Toast, are we skanking it tonight?
Yeah, I could care less about the price. I drank that juice, and I'll keep on drinking that juice. I really, no, I've made minus 170. I don't really care.
You made a minus 170 money
I don't
line
care.
bet.
I'm like 5-0 in these
bro?
plays this year. I don't really care about the juice in any way, shape, or form. I'll take my win and eat and I'll be fine. Tyler Alexander's absolutely terrible. The Rays just have the worst bullpen in the league. Not to mention the fact that the Yankees, I don't even see them slowing down. Let's see their last 5 games: 6 runs, 4 runs, 1 run, 7 runs, 8 runs. So I don't really see that as an offense kind of slowing down. Not to mention Judge had a huge hit to end the game yesterday. So if he starts going and they have him and Soto going, I mean, yeah, the Rays have a whole bunch of righties. Is Aman Rosario, can he hit a fucking righty? No. So I'm really not worried about it. I think this Yankees win this game cleanly. I had them at minus 210 favorites. I still think minus 170 is a value.
Toast taking a minus 170 dog. I mean, It's hard to argue when I think the Yankees win by 6 runs, but
Minus 210. That's a hefty price. Tony.
no, that's where he's saying he has it, right? That's what you
No,
meant.
that's what I'm saying. Like to project that, that's a heavy line, man.
Tyler Alexander
It was
price.
that bad?
There's a Tyler Alexander tax.
Fair.
Okay. All right, Prop Beaver, I got you up first here to talk about Goat McKenzie making a home start here. Certainly, the season has not started to Tristan McKenzie's liking. If you guys have been subscribed since last year, you've been watching this channel since last year, you know that I'm a fan of Tristan McKenzie, maybe to a fault at times. I don't know if I've actually backed him yet this season, though. I think I passed. This is his 4th start, right?
This will be his 4th start.
I'm
this
pretty
year,
sure
yeah.
I gave out Cleveland on the show a couple times, but I don't think I actually have bet a Tristan McKenzie game yet.
You're blessed.
Yeah, well, right here, just judging by listening to what when Prop Beaver talks, I know what he's going to say. So Cleveland is a lineup with a lot of lefties that walks a lot, and Boyle's the king of walks. Am I right?
Cleveland is actually horrendous at drawing walks, but they do have a lot of lefties. They do have a ton of lefties. Yeah, I'm passing on this game because right now I don't really love the matchup for either pitcher. I mean, McKenzie just looks horrible right now. I mean, his xERA, FIP, and xFIP are all higher than his 6.23 ERA. Do you know how hard that is to do? I mean, that just shows how bad he's been right now. But the problem is that this A's lineup is falling off a cliff against righties. They're dead. The first 8 to face him, 4.1 ERA, 1.24 WHIP. The last 6 to face him, 1.8 ERA, 0.83 WHIP. McKenzie did face the White Sox, a similarly heinous lineup, and he pitched 5.2 innings of scoreless baseball against them. So that completely throws me off there. I don't know if I could just back the A's blindly because of that. And then on top of that, backing Boyle against a lefty-heavy lineup like Cleveland sounds like suicide. I mean, 6 starts, his WOBA is 200 points higher against lefties. His walk rate is 12% higher against lefties. His WHIP is 1.8 points higher against lefties, and his xFIP is 2 points higher against lefties. To say he's worse against lefties is truly an understatement. The Guardians start 6, if not 7, most games against righties, including Ramirez, Jimenez, Naylor, and Kwan, their best bats. But the same issue arises. This team can't hit starting right-handed pitching right now. The last 5 to face them, 1.21 ERA, 0.78 WHIP. If they're not making contact with the ball, then this is not a Guardians lineup to back either. So I guess from that standpoint, if you're on Oakland, I completely get it. I'm just not betting it here.
So
I
based
don't
on
see
what you
anything
just
happening on
said,
either side.
based on what you just said, and Miller's rested, Oakland or pass, right? Toast is nodding his head. Let's get Toast up.
Oakland or pass, but pass.
Oakland.
Emphasize the pass.
So I won't even put it up for you if you don't even want the graphic on the screen. But based on what Prop Beaver just said, and the fact that I was wrong, Cleveland is not a lineup that can draw walks, which means might be a rare spot where we can count on Boyle to have a good start against a Cleveland lineup that's gone cold against right-handed pitching. Should be low-scoring game. Oakland or pass with Miller rested?
Yeah, so if you want to get to Oakland, Kyle, why don't you pop open your little roster resource and check that Cleveland bullpen if you want to get your willies going. So, yeah, it's Oakland team total over 3.5 for me at plus 105 on Caesars. First and foremost, just a fade of McKenzie. I understand that he looked decent against the White Sox, but he looked really bad against the Mariners and the Yankees. I understand the Yankees are a much better lineup, but he did look really bad against the Mariners. I don't care if it was on the road or not. He looked terrible. In Oakland, on the road this year, they played 6 games. They've scored 4 runs or more in 4 of those games. Not to mention, I just said with Sauce, that Cleveland bullpen. Clase's went 2 of the last 3 days. Gaddis went 2 of the last 3 days. Heron went 15. Cade Smith went 15 yesterday. So we don't necessarily have a bullpen for Cleveland that's going to be 100%. So I'll take my chances with Oakland scoring a couple runs here at plus money.
And remember, this is an Oakland bullpen. If you see, I got the graphic on the screen here. This is an Oakland bullpen that's missing Henches. It's missing Steffen. These are 2 of the main guys from last year. So it's an Oakland bullpen. I'm sorry, a Cleveland bullpen. This is a Cleveland bullpen that's missing 2 of its main arms that were there last year. So a taxed Cleveland bullpen. Dude, let's do it. I'm doing it. I'm not scared like Prop Beaver. I'm a risk taker.
I'm super happy for you.
All right.
That's like me and my wife's like code. Like if we know we're pissed off at each other in public, like I'm so super happy for you.
I'm thrilled for you. You're the best.
That's like our favorite.
All right, Commish. I got you up first for this one because I have a scorching
You didn't get my thoughts on Oakland.
Oh, shit. I thought you went first.
Rude.
I get called Andy on this show. I get left off the
Wow.
Oakland Cleveland
I
games.
know. This is disrespectful.
I don't even know why he comes back.
So
He called you a guy who can't spell.
Whoa.
I canceled practice for this Sauce.
Oh my.
Yeah.
all
Yep.
right, Oakland money line.
Yeah, of course. Of
Oh
course.
shit! Of course we get.
Yeah, that's why I was like, yeah.
We get. Of course.
No, I've been fading Tristan McKenzie since last year. So an article finally came out in the Athletic, so I can share this information. But if in case people didn't see, Tristan McKenzie has had a tear in his UCL since last June, and there was one independent doctor who recommended surgery. He's been awful. I mean, and not just like bad in a way like I dislike this guy or don't think he's talented, like bad in a way that clearly he's not physically right. If you look back to last year, McKenzie's thrown 19 innings since he tore this UCL. He's given up 15 runs in 19 innings. He has 6 strikeouts and 21 walks in those 19 innings. This year, 144 pitchers have thrown at least 10 innings. He is 144th in K percentage. He is 141st in walk percentage. He's 118th or worse in ERA, FIP, and WHIP. So this guy's bad right now, really bad. Velo's down, spins down. Obviously doesn't feel right for legitimate reasons. Probably should have undergone the knife. Joe Boyle scares me a little bit, so I did split here. I'm on the Athletics money line, and I took their team total over 3.5. I could see this game going over as well. The Joe Boyle against lefties thing is very legitimate. I don't know if you guys could talk me into an over 2.5 walks prop or not. The guy can't throw a strike to left-handed.
Yeah, but prop people were just saying Cleveland doesn't draw walks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
I
that's
just
what
tried
I'm
that
saying,
same thing
it's
against.
only 2.5.
I tried the same thing against the Nats, a team that is significantly better at drawing walks, and I lost. But the previous 2 times I bet on him, I cashed. But those were against teams that could actually draw walks. So I don't know.
How many
If you
lefties
wanted
do
to
they
take
have
the
in
risk,
line? The Nationals line.
they
you remember?
have like 6 or 7. They're a lefty heavy lineup. Yeah.
Cleveland's got 8.
I got
Yeah.
something
So
here.
it was pretty much the same concept I was going with, like very lefty heavy lineup, a team that could draw walks. But this team is bad at drawing walks. So
Also, just to Beaver's point about the walks thing for Cleveland, like they had a 3-game stretch against the White Sox and one against the Yankees where they had 17 walks in 3 games, and I think that's kind of throwing their walks off. So they're probably even worse against drawing walks than Beaver's saying.
All right, so UCapper says the Oakland A's are 4-0 straight up as road dogs against righty starters. How do you like that? So let's
So are we due for a loss? I'm always like, whenever I see
No,
trends like
hell
this,
no. We're due for a win. You saw the
You know
ball.
what
Everyone's
you know what
betting
trend I
Cleveland.
saw? I saw that Verlander is 26-3 to the under in his last blah 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 starts when he's between a -119 and -190 favorite on the road. So take that over.
I thought
Screw
for
that
sure you were
trend.
going to say that we're
Screw that trend.
I thought you for sure you were going to say Justin Verlander hasn't won a game in the World Series.
Also barely does that.
Okay, so next up is Rangers Braves. And Commish, I put you up first. By the way, in the future, if you guys have a game you like, just let me know. I'll put you up first for that game. But anyway, I put you up first for this one because I have a scorching hot take. Heaney's going to deal in this game. And then the Rangers bullpen blows it late. I took first 5 under 5.5. Already bet it.
that is a scorching hot take.
Scorching hot.
Scorching hot.
The Braves numbers against lefties, not quite. Definitely not what they were last year. Not quite scary. And this is the ultimate buy low spot on Andrew Heaney. I mean, look at this dude's starts. At Tampa, then back-to-back games against the Astros. I mean, not that this is any better on the road against the Braves, but this is the old, like, Andrew Heaney's stock will never be lower than it is right now. I mean, how many times you're getting the World Series champions at plus 170? But I'm not taking the Rangers. I'm taking first 5. I wrote over. I'm sorry. Under. I typed it.
First 5.
First 5. I'm taking the first 5 under 5.5. And this is another scorching hot take. I think Sale's going to deal too.
I don't know if that's scored or not.
Gosh, you actually just sold me on this.
Let's do it, right? I think this line's inflated by the fact that just the teams, Rangers, Braves, everyone's expecting all these runs. Heaney's versus Sale. Oh my God, this game's going to be 10-9. But if you actually look, the Rangers have been shit against lefties this year. And Heaney, I mean, look at his numbers. 6.75 ERA. He pitched at Tampa, which has probably been the most difficult place for a lefty starter to go pitch the last 3 years. So at Tampa, then back-to-back starts against the Astros. I mean, this is a buy low spot on Andrew Heaney. Braves against lefties, not what they were last year. Rangers have been shit against lefties. And we're getting this number at 5.5. Let's do it, man.
Yeah, I'm not big on guys like Evan Carter at all in the lineup against lefties. I really like Chris Sale. Chris Sale's been very good when he's been healthy the last few years. He just hasn't been healthy a lot, so I feel like a lot of people have forgotten about him. Texas, that lineup's been really bad against lefties, so I can get behind that for sure. Atlanta, I'm with you. Their offense is still top 10 in most categories against left-handed pitching, but they also have a 348 BABIP against lefties so far, so they probably haven't been as good as those numbers indicate. And dude, it's tough to score 6 runs in 5 innings in any matchup. Like I know Atlanta's got some elevation. It's going to be warm there, but 6 runs is a lot, man. And you got to remember the Braves don't have Albies right now either, so that's another bad.
And someone said under 9 with a question mark. So the reason that after what I just said, you would think I'd be like, all right, Kyle, then why aren't we playing Rangers +1 or taking a shot with Rangers money line if you think Heaney has a shot to pitch well? It's because I have no interest in touching anything related to the Texas Rangers bullpen right now. So I could see this game being 2-2 after 5 innings and the Braves winning 11-2. So like I have no interest in, I don't want any parts of innings 6 through 9 with the Rangers bullpen, which is why I don't want to touch the Rangers. I don't want to touch the full game. Just give me my first 5 under 5.5 and I'm out. You guys enjoy the rest of the game. I'll change the channel.
It's moved, just so you know. I'm gonna have to bet the 5. Flat 5.
I got called. I'm sickened about it. I waited too long, and Kyle told me last night to place
such a line mover. I'm such a line mover, guys.
Yep, and Kyle even told me last night you should place it now, and I was like, okay, I will. And then I was like, oh, well, what if Heaney, blah, blah, blah. And then today when I went to go place it and write it up, it was at 5.
Well, hopefully I posted it last night in the Discord, so hopefully those in the Discord that wanted to tail got the 5.5.
Yeah, I mean, you could still get the 5.5 at -130 on Hard Rock and ESPN. I like, a 5.5 is still, like, I think it's worth paying that extra juice for the 5.5 to the 5 because it's a whole extra run. You would need them to score less at the 5. You need to score 4 runs to the 5.
So are you on the same bet here? Should I put it under your face here?
No, what I decided to do instead, just because I didn't want to pay the -130, is I went with a SGP Braves money line, Rangers team total under 4.5 at -115. Basically, I agree with pretty much everything you said here. It's just the fact that I'm really doubling down on the fact that I think Chris Sale is going to deal here. The Rangers' bats against lefties have absolutely not impressed me thus far. Did Chris Sale just get hit up at Miami, a offense that is 30th in WRC plus against lefties? Absolutely. But something I've noticed with the Miami bats is that those trends are starting to split. We're starting to see them hit lefties a lot better. And the righties that they were once crushing, we're starting to see them struggle against, just like today against Tyone. Put up nothing on the board against him. So I actually think that maybe that start wasn't the worst start in the world either. And now he's facing this Rangers lineup. They're coming off that high-scoring affair yesterday against Kenta Maeda, who is afraid of the sun. Bad pitcher in the sun. So I think that the Rangers get held in check here. I believe in the Braves bullpen. I think they have some really nice arms in there. The Rangers offense hasn't been really doing much in later innings lately either, besides yesterday. So yeah, I'm rolling with the Braves money line, Rangers team total under 4.5 at -115. Unfortunately, me and Toast are on the opposite sides of this one.
By the way, the line didn't move. I just checked my bet from last night. I got it at -120. So it didn't move as much as we thought. I didn't remember that. So I just looked at the screenshot myself.
Well, most books have it at -150, so you got good value.
It's at -150 now?
On most books, yes.
Dude, I'm just such a titan in the industry. Moving lines, bro.
That's what it is.
So quick question for Beaver. Would you play the Rangers team total under 4.5 straight? It's at -160.
No, personally, I think that the Braves have the edge in the final frames, and I think that they could beat up on the Rangers bullpen that continues to not impress.
Toast, scorching hot take. Andrew Heaney's going to deal. What say you?
Dope. Hope he does for you. I'm on the Rangers team total over 3.5, and I'm not even really worried about it. So I hope you guys get your over.
Complete opposite.
Yeah, I just don't see it the same way. I truly think that baseball is a mental game as much as it is a physical game. And this Rangers lineup just scored 9 runs yesterday. I understand that they haven't been as successful, but using Beaver's cheat sheet, I know that they have multiple guys that can really smash left-handed pitching. We just saw Jonah Heim hit a home run yesterday, so he's got to be feeling good. Garcia got to Skubal the other day, who's a very good lefty. I just think that there's too much power in this Rangers lineup not to take this number at 3.5 in Atlanta against a team that I understand the Rangers are world champions, but Atlanta's the team that's always trying to be knocking on the door. So I expect the Rangers to be ready to go here today. I'll gladly take my chances at 3.5 here.
I'm guessing you haven't looked at the Rangers numbers against left-handed pitching so far this year.
I'm well aware of what they are.
Are you sure? Because you would probably ask me to take that graphic down if you've seen them.
No. I'm good.
All right, let's move on to the next game. This is a good one, though. Should be a fun series. All right. Next game up. Baltimore, Kansas City.
You're talking about like the 137 plate appearances compared to the 554 against righties, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
He's making sure.
He was just making sure, Prop Beaver.
Huge sample size.
Toast, did you happen to watch my Orioles-Royals video last night?
I did not.
So you don't care about my content. Got it. All right. So me and Prop Beaver made this video. Orioles, Royals. And
it was actually Andy that wrote it. Any inaccuracies that are in it?
That's right. Andy made the original notes for this one. We touched them up a bit, but Andy did this one. And I think the move here is Royals first 5 at the plus 115. It's the same price of the full game. And this is Alec Marsh already dealt against Baltimore earlier in the season. And I don't the splits that just sold me were Alec Marsh. You probably have it open in front of you, Toast. Look at Alec Marsh's numbers against left-handed bats. They're hitting just 159 or 169 against them. Baltimore's going to have 7 lefties in the lineup. So you got Alec Marsh who's dealing against lefties. Baltimore's going to have 7 lefties in the lineup. So Baltimore's got one of the best lineups in baseball against right-handed pitching. They're probably top 2 or 3 against right-handed pitching right now. Definitely a risk, but I think the value is on Marsh getting in and getting out. Royals could have a nice lead after 5, and then the Royals bullpen can blow it late, and all you Orioles bettors can still get your cash. But I think the Royals could be holding a run or 2 after 5 innings, and I'll take my plus money. What say you?
I hope you get there. That's not where I am, but I hope you get there. I think that the Orioles can probably get to Alec Marsh. I played Orioles team total over 4.5. That's what I bet. I'm getting a red hot Baltimore Orioles team right now that's already seen this guy once that embarrassed them, and now they're getting him here in Kansas City in a big, huge stadium where that ball could hit the gaps. Orioles can steal bases. They can run the bases really well. I just think that we see some runs here from Baltimore. I'm well aware of how good Alec Marsh looked against them that first time out, but then he also went out and looked like kind of crap his next 2 starts. So if he can blank the Orioles
against lineups with righties, though, Baltimore's loaded with lefties.
That's okay. Yeah, lefties like Gunnar Henderson, who's out of his mind right now. Like, I mean, I don't worry about that. I don't worry about that as much as you. So yeah, Baltimore team total over 4.5.
Prop Beaver will co-sign my bet here. Tell him.
No, I won't. I'm on the Orioles money line. Yeah. Sorry, bud. Dean Kramer, I have to give props. I'm not the biggest Dean Kramer guy, but here's an interesting trend I found about Dean Kramer. The guy's resilient. He is excellent at bouncing back after dog shit starts. So these are his runs allowed in the starts after letting up 5+ runs since 2022. 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 4, 0, 0. He allowed 2 or more runs in those starts twice. So he's just excellent at bouncing back here. He's going to face this Royals lineup that was able to put on 3 in the first start where they faced him. But in that game, they just had 4 base runners. They were able to get those runs in via home run. But that current lineup, even after that game, still owns a 152 average and a 540 OPS against Kramer. Sure, one can say that the Royals bats are a must back at home and a fade on the road. But the facts are the facts, and even if it was on the road, that Royals lineup dramatically slowed down over the last 6 games.
They were on the road.
We don't know that yet. We don't have a large enough sample
size. Well, we know they were on the road.
Okay, that's just you're just trying to.
Beaver. You're right.
Yeah, for the love of Christ. There's 26 WRC plus, 28th in OBP against righties during that span. So I don't trust the Royals bats right now. Even though they're back at home, I think Kramer could have a good game here. And then this is the tough one because on the surface, the Orioles should kill Marsh. I mean, they've been on a rampage the last 9 games, second in WRC plus, first in ISO against righties. But Marsh did dominate in the first start. What did he do after those 2 starts? 9.2 innings, 13 hits, 7 runs. But the one thing that scares me is that even in those 2 starts after the Baltimore one, he was still much better against lefties. But one thing I will say, though, his xFIP against lefties, unlike my boy Clark Schmidt, who had his little splits reversed, his xFIP against lefties is 4.69. They are basically indicating that he is getting lucky as hell right now. He's due to regress. And now that they're seeing him for the second time, that would be a prime spot for that to happen. When we get to the Pens, both rank very closely in ERA, but the Orioles have the clear edge in WOBA, FIP, and xFIP. The Royals pen, while much improved, has still overperformed to this point. Give me the Orioles.
Your analysis didn't scare me in the least.
Very cool. Very happy for you.
See, Prop Beaver's trying to spin the narrative that the Royals bats have cooled off. They went on a road trip. The Kansas City Royals are 4th in OPS at home. On the road, they're 27th. So they're back at home now. They're going to tag Dean Kramer up. And Prop Beaver's going to be like, I can't believe I backed Dean Kramer.
They faced 2 rookies in their first starts and put up 3 combined runs on them.
Ouch.
4th in OPS at home.
Red hot.
4th in OPS at home. Commish, tell him Marsh.
Jonathan Cannon's a respected arm.
4th in OPS at home against who? Flexing, Fetty,
Kramer,
Soroka.
Kramer,
Arrighetti. Some high-level arms there.
I put a Kramer in the same discussion. Commish, tell him Marsh is going to deal, bro.
I don't think so, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Sauce. I think these early season surface level numbers that look good against lefties are total bullshit for Marsh. 13.2 K percentage against lefties so far. Last year he was god awful against lefties. So for me to believe in any sort of true improvement here, there's got to be some change in pitch mix or pitch shape, and there just isn't. Last year 622 FIP against lefties, 195 WHIP. This year he's benefited so far from the fact that he's pitched in some really good pitcher friendly weather conditions. Also 209 BABIP, that's going to regress for sure. And if you're not getting swings and misses, you're probably just not fooling anybody all that much. I think he's going to start to experience some less good fortune on balls in play. If he keeps pitching to contact against lefties, his stuff just really is not that good. The weather isn't great tonight, so if there's any hope for you, Sauce, it's because the weather's not great and Marsh is once again pitching on a night when the weather could save him. But I really don't like him at all, even a little bit.
Fine,
but I don't like Kramer. I don't like Kramer either. So in my mind, this is an over spot, but the weather has me not willing to bet on an over here. And like I said, I have a lot of other stuff on my card tonight, so I'm not betting this. But in a normal situation, I would bet the over.
So over or pass for Commish.
Yeah.
Communities on the Orioles. Go ahead, guys. Everyone flood over on Baltimore, and you can have your win. Just spot me the first 5, please. And
I'm cool with that.
I hope everybody wins. Everybody could win here.
Everybody could win here. Detroit, Minnesota. I actually used the Twins money line in the ugliest, chalkiest parlay. I placed it at like 3 a.m. and shared it in the Discord. Everyone was like, "What's going on?" Like, I don't know why.
They were like, "Do you need help?" They're like, "Do you have a problem?"
It was like I took like Houston money line, Minnesota money line. I threw the Sacramento Kings money line in it. It was disgusting.
That's gross.
At least you know that.
That being said, I know Toast likes Flaherty, and I really don't understand it. But there's just, I think this is finally, and look, I know that you guys aren't really the biggest Joe Ryan fans, but who isn't?
Who's not a Joe Ryan fan?
Oh, yeah, you guys like Joe? Well, tell me,
like, dude, you're just throwing out strays.
I could have sworn I've heard people hate on Joe Ryan. Whatever. You guys love Joe Ryan. Got it. Tell me this isn't the perfect spot for Joe Ryan to deal. Dude, what about like a Tigers team total all under 1.5? Like a big plus price. No. I like the Twins to win. That's my bet is. I'm just saying the reason I like the Twins to win is because I think the Tigers could very realistically be held to 1 or 2 runs max. Prop Beaver?
I actually, in this one, if I needed to place a bet, I mean, I'm not placing a bet on the Twins until they show me a sign of life. But if I had to place a bet in this game, This is the only way I would play this dog shit Twins team. I would play Joe Ryan to record a win at plus 155.
Do I have a graphic for that?
I believe you should. I texted Andy it. I trust Ryan to handle the lineup in back-to-back starts much more than I trust Mr. Jack Flaherty to. And now we're getting Joe Ryan at home, where he's been significantly better for most of his career. Sure, the Tigers hit up lighter yesterday, but before that, they were held to 1 or less earned runs by the previous 10 to 12 starting righties they faced. And if Leiter had any form of a plan out there, I don't know what the hell he was doing. I'm sure he would have done a lot better. The Twins' pen has been very strong, like the Tigers, and I think they're more than capable of holding a game and sealing the win for Minnesota. I have zero interest in backing Flaherty and feel getting shut out by the Orioles' Abreu was truly rock bottom for the Twins offense. If I had to make a bet in this game, I would need some plus money to do it, to back that Twins offense. So I would back Joe Ryan to get the W here.
Okay. Yeah, I actually kind of like that better than the Twins money.
Right?
Line. Yeah.
It's right. It's like, if you're going to back this dog shit offense, why
Right.
not like take a little shot with it?
You know, I'm going to write that down. I'm not going to put it on my ticket because it's your bet, but I might personally.
I don't think it's going to make my ticket. So if you wanted to make yours, go right ahead.
All right. Well, if you're not using it, I'll take it for a test drive.
You're gonna leave the keys on the table.
Commish, what are your thoughts on what Prop Beaver said? Joe Ryan to record a win. Muted.
Sorry, my dog is barking, so I just don't want you guys to hear him barking the whole time you guys are talking. But I like it. I almost bet Pepio plus 205 to record a win yesterday. It's just not a market that I bet a whole lot, and I wish I would have bet it today. I think it makes a ton of sense. I don't know. I mean, I actually did look to go bet that under 1.5 that you just mentioned with the Tigers team. So but the odds suck, man. For them to score less than 2 runs, you're only giving me plus 240. I think Ryan's going to deal.
Well, what's their team total at? 3.5, probably juiced to the under anyway.
3.5 juice to the under minus 150. You can get under 1.5 runs at plus 145.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I thought he said 245. No, 145 for under 1.5.
Correct.
No, 240.
Yeah, that sounds more likely.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, it is 240.
Oh my God, Toast.
I was gonna say,
grab a
wow, that is
monster,
the
bro.
craziest
Grab
price.
a monster.
Relax.
I still feel like that's. I feel like that's insane. I'm not going to bet that. I did bet small the under 4 first 5 because I think Joe Ryan's going to deal. I think this Twins offense only occasionally understands what the objective is at the plate, and that to me screams under 4 first 5. The weather's absolutely horrible. I had a friend text me and tell me that it snowed like an hour ago in Minnesota, and he lives 15 minutes from the ballpark. So if they play this game, I don't know how there's going to be runs scored in this spot. You know, the Nerfy enthusiasts, I don't know what the odds are on that, but I feel like a Nerfy's a decent spot. The Twins aren't going to score runs. They're just not. They got no Correa, no Royce Lewis. The rest of these guys, God bless them, they're just not producing. They're just not. Under 4 first 5, I don't know how that loses. I really don't.
But what if they have heart?
Have you considered that?
That's one way it could lose. If they have heart, then it could lose.
All right. Toast, what are your thoughts?
So just looking at it, every time the Tigers have like a decent 3-run or a 3-game stretch, then they like really get shut down. So yeah, especially as far as runs, like 5, 6. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind betting the Tigers team total under 1.5 like that, but it would be Twins or pass. I just can't pay that price at the Twins right now, knowing how bad they are at the plate. Not to mention they are coming home from a long road trip.
It's Flaherty, though, bro.
They did have a day off. Yeah, no, I get it. And honestly, and the Detroit numbers are going to be inflated too, because those 7 runs yesterday, they shouldn't have got 7 runs. The play in center field was an error, and it shouldn't have been. The ball should have been caught. Yeah. So they shouldn't even have scored 7 runs yesterday. That shouldn't. I mean, it's just they're just so bad at the plate. So it'd be under Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota loses the game, but I don't want to be minus 160 range or whatever 50 range at a 1-0-2-1 ball game. Like I want to be sure, you know what I mean? Like It's just not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel exactly the same. I put Twins up for me, but I didn't. It's not going on my ticket.
I would, if a gun to my head, I think that Joe Ryan to record a win is probably the best. The way the Beaver said it, because if he's going to pitch well, if they're going to win, that's what's going to have to happen. So
cool. All right. Wow, I got Prop Beaver up first in a game, but he seems pretty fired up about. I don't know if he was just talking some shit before the show, but when we first started, he was like, I'm fading you Capper's pick. He said, and I quote Prop Beaver, cards.
Cards. That's what the kids say. I have to go with the Cardinals here. The Brewers, one of the most potent offenses in the league to this point, are in a game against Kyle Gibson, a man with a 6.16 ERA, and their team totals at 3.5. Gibson gave up 11 runs his last 2 games and has gone over 2.5 earned runs his last 17 to 26 games going back to 2022. Yet his earned runs line is juiced under. The Brewers are minus 130 favorites with their ace on the mound, and the line moved down despite heavy action on it. This line reeks. It's time for the Cardinals to wake the hell up here. Freddie Peralta is definitely a beast, but one team throughout his career that has always given him trouble is the St. Louis Cardinals. Through 11 starts, he's 1-6 with a 6.16 ERA, 1.47 whip, 1.45 home run per 9, and most of those came at Milwaukee, where he's better. Through 4 road starts against the Cardinals, 0-3, 6.05 ERA. Even the current lineup, through a whopping 115 plate appearances, owns a 931 OPS against the guy, 12% walk rate. Is the Cardinals lineup still mids as hell? The answer to that, yes, you betcha. But there has been some improvement. The plate discipline is significantly better. They were bottom 5 in K percentage and walk rate from March 28th to April 8th. From April 9th to today, they're actually top 15 on both of those. On top of that, they've improved their OBP marks, ISO, and WRC plus in that span as well. On the other side, we got Gibson, and yes, he's off to a brutal start, but guess who else was off to brutal starts? Kevin Gausman and Griffin Canning. And guess what? They magically snapped into it after being horrible their first 3 games. And we all know how hot the Brewers were for a stretch. They scored 6+ runs 7 times in an 8-game span. But that level of production was beyond unsustainable. Nobody thought that lineup was that good against righties. And I think the balloon has popped. In their home series against the Padres, they managed 7 total runs. Cease, definitely certified stud. King, definitely a bit shaky as a starter, and Musgrove has been horrible to start this year. So to get completely clamped there, that definitely concerns me a bit. I think there's a chance Gibson gives up a couple runs, but for the most part, I think he has a solid day here. And when we get to the bullpens, that's the main thing that gets me over to St. Louis. The Brewers did get the day off for yesterday, but Uribe, Peguero, and Payamps all went back-to-back days on Wednesday and Thursday. So even if they do pitch, this will be their 3rd time in 4 days. Meanwhile, Cardinals bullpen fully rested, and they've already outperformed the Brewers' pen to this point. 9th in ERA, 8th in WOBA, 6th in FIP, 2nd in XFIP. Brewers rank lower in all 4 categories. So I'm fading all that Milwaukee action. I'm riding with the books here. Cards up.
Not gonna lie, he was just spitting some game there.
Cards the fuck up.
Suspicious lines on prop market, suspicious line movement. Freddie Peralta, not the best history against the Cardinals. He was selling a bill of goods there. The question is, Toast, are you buying what he's selling?
I 100% agree. I played the Brewers last night, so I'm stuck. It doesn't really matter. I 100% agree with the line movement. Don't necessarily agree with, I can't argue with the numbers that Freddie Peralta has. The numbers are the numbers, but if you look at them, it's whether he has a good start or a bad start. Right. His last start in St. Louis, Jesus Christ, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. They lost 1-0. So is that a bad start by Freddie Peralta? Absolutely not. The previous one, he got lit up for 6 runs in the 5 innings. So Gibson, on the other hand, I don't even think he pitched that bad in Arizona. I mean, he was cruising through like the first 5, and I think he gave up like 3 or 4 runs in the 5th or the 6th. So I don't even think he was pitching that bad. I just don't trust this Cardinals team in any way, shape, or form. I mean, they scored 9 runs total against Oakland. They were shut out against the last game before that against Arizona, and 2 runs before that. So this Cardinals offense just doesn't do it for me. I understand that the Brewers bullpen is a little bit gassed, but those 2 guys, also all those 3 guys had the prior 2 days off before that. So I still think they're going to be fine. So again, is the line movement absolutely terrifying? Yeah, but I'm still on the Brewers.
Commish, break the tie.
If it's a trap, I'm going to walk into the trap. I'm going to eat the cheese. I'm going to die.
Okay.
Call me the rat trapper, baby.
No, I really think
Ain't no more Beavers around here.
If you like the Cardinals in this spot, I don't know how you don't play Kyle Gibson over 17.5 outs. Plus 110 on DK. This makes absolutely no sense to me because this guy was literally the Cardinals don't really give a shit how many runs Kyle Gibson gives up. They really don't. They want him to get through 6 innings every 5 days. So if he pitches halfway decent, he's sure as shit going to get through 6 innings. I think I might bet this and the Milwaukee money line.
They've done that in all of his starts too. 7 innings, 6 innings, 6 innings. I mean, yeah.
They don't care. And Gibson's not striking anybody out. So he's going to have quick at-bats. He's probably going to average less than 4 pitches a batter faced. he's going to be able to face 25, 27 guys, and he needs to get 18 of them out. I mean, I don't hate Milwaukee, but I certainly don't like. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you Milwaukee's going to score 8 runs on them.
Prop Beaver, I think you're the mayor of Sharpsville, and I'm going to invest in some property in Sharpsville with you. Let's do it.
Oh yeah,
Just a straight tail. Just a straight tail. I love it. I love it.
let's go.
I'm telling you, cards. I'll do it.
Card up, baby.
Cards.
I will say with the Cardinals are going to continue to get better at the plate, though, with Lars Newbar. If he gets back to just somewhat of a player that he was, the Cards are going to continue to get better.
I also like that Ivan Herrera is full-time in the lineup now. I'm glad they stopped
Yeah, he's
Lazuna
starting to
him.
play better, yeah. He's not playing today, though.
Prop Beaver, were your sharp senses tingling on that one?
Yeah, I was just like looking at some of the lines, and I saw a lot of people on Peralta. I saw a ton of people posting Brewers today, and I was like, you know what? I need another play. My sharp senses are tingling. I'm carding the hell up today. I'm carding the hell up.
So, Toast, your boy Hancock on the road. I would imagine he's never made a career start in Coors because he's only made about 11 career starts before,
No.
and he pitches in the AL. So, making his Coors Field debut. Dakota Hudson. What an ugly game, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like I can't play the Mariners here. I can't play the. I mean, I guess it'd be Rocky.
Sorry. This game's been postponed. They said.
Oh, really?
So,
Oh, okay.
so my bad, guys.
God.
Oh, thank God.
I didn't
Thank
know
God.
that.
Yeah, thank God.
I didn't want to
That's
have to give out a pick on that game. I was going to say under or pass, but that was even gross.
Sorry about that, guys. So, Toronto, San Diego next.
I think I got a piece of lint in my eye. I'm crying over here. Oh, my God.
That Cards pick got you fired up.
Well, I mean, Cardinals baseball does get me emotional.
I can't tell you how much I love this team right now in this spot.
Cardinals
How can you
baseball.
not be romantic about Cardinals baseball?
Hey, I feel you, Beaver.
All right.
There with you.
You got the Jays on the road in San Diego. Let's get Toast up first for this one. So, how are you betting the Padres here, Toast? You home your ass,
I took
dude.
them on the money line. I was hoping that we got a better number than we did last night, and we definitely got it. Yeah, I just, first and foremost, I don't trust this Toronto team first in any way, shape, or form. I understand that they looked good against Colorado. They got a couple good wins against New York. Then they ended up losing, obviously, that last game. This Yadiel Rodriguez guy, I do want to say that he's a guy probably in his future that I'm probably going to make some bets on. He's a guy that pitched in the WBC. He's faced a lot of good competition. He throws things at all types of pitches at different arm slots. He's going to be fun to watch. But this Friars offense is like really, really on fire right now, especially if you take on the fact that what is going on?
That's in. I have Prop Beaver's mic muted. I don't know what that is.
So it's all good. Anyway, but anyway, the Padres are coming home from a road trip. I get that, but they looked really, really good in Milwaukee, and they looked really, really good in LA, and they had a day off. And then Matt Waldron, the knuckleballer, I actually think he's going to give this Toronto lineup some problems. I mean, he just went on the road and faced that Dodgers team, went 5 innings, only gave up 3 hits and 1 run. He looked really bad his first start, but I think he's really understanding how to use that knuckleball off his other pitches right now, and it showed his last 2 starts, even though they were both on the road. He looked really, really good. So the Padres have everybody in their bullpen that I would want ready to go, and that's the only time I'll play the Padres on the money line is if they have all those guys. They're going to have them. Wandy Peralta has worked 2 of the last 3 days, but he's barely pitched in those games, so I know that he's available. So, yeah, I'm on the Padres here.
Padres.
Oh, the other thing about Rodriguez, by the way, is that he only pitched 3 2/3. So if he's short, that Toronto bullpen, although they did have the day off yesterday, it's a lot of work over the last week. Not to mention half of them are injured or coming off injury list. So I don't really trust it.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to take Toronto here, but I don't think there's any way. Commish, what are your thoughts here? Padres?
I don't want to bet the Padres with a knuckleballer on the mound. We were talking about this on the DMs the other day. It's just a very random pitch. Like you can have a good knuckleball, but that doesn't mean you know where it's going to go per se. But I hate the Blue Jays, man. I'm sorry if there's any Toronto fans. I just can't stand this team. I think I think especially on the road, this offense is really going to struggle. I haven't bet this game. I don't know how to bet this game. I probably would go under because I think the Blue Jays offense sucks. I think if Waldron's knuckleball's working, you could see Toronto literally not score, and I do like Rodriguez, so I could see a lower scoring game here.
Prop Beaver? And no, Prop Beaver, there was a weird noise coming out of your mic, but it was only there for about 10 seconds and it stopped.
There's some guys doing landscaping outside. I don't know if it was that or whatever.
It sounded like
Maybe
a leaf blower, yes.
Maybe it was my tears going into the mic. I have no clue.
It wasn't that.
I have no clue what to do for this game. I was kind of just gonna ride with whatever Toast said because he knows these pitchers 50 times more than I do. I don't really know much about Yeri, and as far as Waldron goes, I agree with what Commish said. I asked him actually how to cap him, and he's like, I don't know. The knuckleball's a pretty random pitch. So, yeah, I just know that if you take the starting pitching out and we look at everything else, I will happily back the Padres rather than the Blue Jays there. So just give me the Padres.
Yeah, that's what I put up for me too, because if I bet this game, which I probably won't, the only way I would do it is I'd just be tailing Toast. So Padres are pass for me too. All right, next up. Can we talk Mets baseball here? Been dying to talk Mets baseball all day.
Yes, please.
Who doesn't love Mets ball?
Who does not love Mets baseball? Hottest team in baseball.
The Padres are coming for you, though. They're coming.
We're on a warpath for first place here. Prop Beaver, I know you like the Mets money line because I read off your pick on the video last night. I'll put it up. Go ahead, spit it away.
Yep, posted this earlier today. I feel like I've said this before, but I don't know if I'm going to fade the Dodgers much against righties, if ever. But if I'm going to fade the Dodgers, I'm going to fade them against lefties. We got a lefty on the mound today, and the Mets are rolling right now. Now, if you look at the career numbers for Manaea against the Dodgers, holy shit, they're bad. 1-5, 7.5 ERA, 1.53 WHIP. Wow. And now he's coming off a shelling at the hands of KC. So why are we backing him here? Well, his last 2 times out against the Dodgers have been much improved. 1-0, 3.07 ERA, 0.68 WHIP. Technically, 2 of those were reliefs, but he was the bulk reliever in those games. So in my mind, they were essentially a start. And the lone actual start he made, he went into LA last year in September, 7 innings of I think it was 3 hit, 0-run baseball. So he dominated them last year, the last time he saw them. And while, yes, the Dodgers were able to hit up Patrick Corbin, the walking punching bag, the previous 5 lefties to face him combined for a 3.75 ERA, just 0.4 home runs per 9, and a 1.3 WHIP. That was Mitchell Parker, Shota Imanaga, Jordan Wicks, Harrison, and Matz. I would say take out Imanaga because he's next level, and Manaea fits right in with that group in terms of talent level. Before facing Corbin, the Dodgers were just 14th in WRC+, 20th in ISO, and 15th in OBP against lefties. And Manaea, what I like about him is that he relies heavily on the 4-seam fastball. 55.6% of his pitches are that 4-seamer, 94th percentile amongst pitchers. Dodgers have struggled greatly against that from lefties thus far. 21st in WOBA, 23rd in ISO, 22nd in run value. And on the other side, we got Yamamoto. I'm a bit scared about him for the Mets, and the main reason why is because he's a guy who's excellent at limiting base runners. The Mets have been red hot recently, no denying that, but who are the 2 guys to shut him down? Ronaldo Lopez and Jared Jones, both guys who are excellent at limiting base runners, but are a bit prone to allowing hard contact. One could say that describes Yamamoto. 106 WHIP, 15% barrel rate, 55% hard hit rate. So if the Mets can't hit him hard, it's a bit of an uphill battle, but this is where I think the value comes in for the Mets, and this is where I think we can win this ball game here. If Manaea keeps the Mets in the game, I think the real edge for the Mets is in the second half. You have the better bullpen, both in ERA and FIP by a mile. Our lineups have produced much better in the late innings as well. And let's not forget, let's just look at the current state of these teams. Dodgers are 2-5 in their last 7 games. They're averaging just 4 runs. That was compared to 10-4 in their first 14, averaging 6 runs per game. Mets are in the complete opposite spot. They were 2-6 in their first 8 games, averaging 2 runs per game. Now they're 8-3 in their last 11, averaging 6.5 runs per game. I just feel like the Dodgers are simply way overvalued here, and there's a reason that plus 1.5 is up near minus 125. They see a competitive, low-scoring game here. I'm going to happily take the plus 170. Go Mets, go.
That was like the best part of your thing was the Dodgers run line at plus 125, Beaver. Great. Fantastic.
You like the Dodgers?
Gotcha.
Me?
No, he likes the Mets.
I like the Mets. We're all Mets here today. So first and foremost for me, I don't know what to really expect from Yamamoto. I don't really put too much stock into that Korea start where he got lit up by the Padres. I really don't. But again, the Cardinals and the Cubs, I understand the Cubs have been good, so I guess that's a decent start. But the Cardinals aren't a very good team, so I don't really put much into that. And he didn't look good against the Padres. And yes, I understand that Manaea has been really, really bad. But as Beaver has obviously talked about, the Dodgers against lefties, not a really spot that I trust. And Manaea did go into Dodger Stadium last year and pitch pretty damn decently. So as long as he doesn't get absolutely shelled, I think that we're going to have a chance. And always, as if you bet the Mets, do they have a rested bullpen? Because they obviously have the recipe for success. The answer is yes here today. Everybody's more than rested. So yeah, I'll gladly take my chances at a huge plus price.
I love how Prop Beaver was referring to the Mets as we. I said like he wants to be a fan now, even though he bailed when we were 0-5. He bailed. I remain true. So
let him back on the bandwagon, Sauce.
He has to fill out an application and wait for approval before we let him back in.
If the Cardinals win tonight, I want back in.
If the Cardinals win tonight, you're back in.
Okay.
Commish, you have to back the hottest team in baseball, right?
I'm backing America's team.
Hopefully you're referring to the Mets. Which one's America's team?
I mean, who else could qualify as America's team?
I don't know.
It depends on who you ask. I mean,
you're the best team in the biggest market in baseball. How are you not America's team?
Let's do it, Mets.
Precisely.
I think for me, the biggest thing here is you guys already touched on all the stuff against lefties. I think overall, Toast and I talked about this on the pod. I know we've talked about this with Beaver as well. The Dodgers, in my opinion, are not an elite, they're not like a juggernaut baseball team. Right now, they're on pace to win 92 games. They're 12-9. This team isn't going and just railroading everybody that they face. They're a very, very good team offensively. That is obvious. Any lineup with Betts, Ohtani, Freeman, Will Smith, all those guys are fantastic. The defense is awful. The bullpen has not been that great. The starting pitching, I like Yamamoto long term. There's things that I think he's still adjusting to at the MLB level. I don't looking at this game. I think you just have to ask yourself before you just auto bet the Dodgers -1.5. Why are the Dodgers -200 favorites in this spot? Truthfully, average offense against left-handed pitching. The bullpen isn't really an advantage, in my opinion, over the Mets.
Manaea, I think, is still regarded as not a reliable arm, despite having 3 straight good outings against the Dodgers. I can see that from a perception standpoint, but we talked about this during the preseason. Last year, Manaea switched from the first base side of the rubber to the third base side of the rubber and had completely different results after doing that. I think Sean Manaea is a perfectly reliable guy most days. The Dodgers lineup is certainly good, but again, it's mediocre against left-handed pitching. Max Muncy can't hit lefties. Ohtani is a very, very good hitter, but another lefty-on-lefty matchup. You have those guys in the bottom of the order, and we'll see what the lineup ends up being tonight, but the Outmans and those other guys, they don't have their A lineup against left-handed pitching. I think at +165, you just have to roll the dice. The Dodgers won't lose in this situation every single time, but if you keep getting +165, +170 on other teams that are starting left-handed pitching, I would almost, I'll never guarantee anything. Nothing's a lock, but it has to end up being profitable if you fade the Dodgers in these spots every single time. Yeah, I will say, though, I'm a little different. These guys, I put up Mets money line. It sounds like that's what they were taking. I actually took the +1.5, and I also like the first 5 under because I think Yamamoto deals. I'm on board with everything these guys said. I think Manaea could pitch really well. The Mets have the bullpen edge. I'm with it all the way. But I think Yamamoto's about to throw a gem, and I think this game could be 1-0 after 6. And I like my chances with Mets +1.5 going into the late innings with a better bullpen. So I thought +1.5 was the better bet. I paid some juice for. I think -120. What was it, Prop Beaver?
It was -125 last night. I don't know what it is now.
I actually don't even think I placed this bet. I'm going to, but I don't. Mets +1.5. No, I'm betting this.
It's at -120 still. That's the best price you can get it.
Yeah, I'll be on Mets +1.5. All right.
I don't mind the doubling down. The one thing that made me just bet the money line though is that I feel like I'm already betting on Sean Manaea to be good in one way. If I have to bet him in 2 different ways, I feel like that's a bit too much for me.
Right.
I don't want to double bet Sean Manaea.
And just to that Dodgers lineup isn't the same Dodgers lineup. I mean, those last three guys, Andy Pages, I understand it's not Pages. I understand that, but I call him Andy Pages. Hernandez and Rojas, and then we already know that Muncy really struggles against lefties. So the bottom of that Dodgers lineup is pretty damn weak tonight.
Last game.
That's-
It's lunchtime after this.
All right, Toast. Arizona last night. I think all of us. I think every single person on this panel lost money on Arizona. Commish, did you have Arizona too?
I actually pushed.
No, I told you on the first 5 under.
Yeah, I wanted the first 5 under, and for some reason I switched and bet Arizona first 5 plus a half run
You're
instead.
the only reason I played that bet.
Yeah. When
were
Kyle
so
says that to me,
confident
it's
in
the
that.
worst feeling in the world. It's the worst feeling in the world to have somebody say
it
that
is
to
the
you.
worst.
And I've never said it to anybody else, so I'm doing something wrong.
I have that said it to you so many times where I won a bet and you lost. And I'm like, bro, I bet that because of you. Based
Yeah,
on what
and I
you
just
said.
sit there in dismay. I'm a good gatherer, not a good processor.
I bought the wrong hat. I should have bought first 5U. So Toast. Montgomery making his debut with Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He's a lefty, which the Giants bats, you can't trust them at all right now against righties, but against lefties.
I don't even know if you could trust him against lefties at this point. My
Well, hold
God,
on.
they're bad.
Guys,
I would agree with that.
just first glance, here are my thoughts. 2 lineups that people aren't really believing in right now, but 2 lineups that are better against left-handed pitching. What about an over at 7.5?
100%. My uncle's on
Everybody
the
and their
over.
mother's on it.
Really?
Really?
Everybody.
Okay.
Who's
I don't know. That's not what I'm on.
Whose
I'm on the
mother?
Giants. I'm on the Giants money line, and I like it.
My mother's on it. My mother signed up for an account today just to place a wager.
On the over?
Used her deposit match on it. Yep.
So are you
Nice.
saying you don't like the over?
Now I said I do like the over, but I can't bet it because it was at 7.5 and it was like minus 110. I see that all the action, all the bets are on it, and it's at plus 100 now. What the hell is that about? What Toast said to me in the DMs earlier is that he thinks Blake Snell deals here, and I think I'm actually gonna buy into that. I'm sorry, Toast. I spoiled your thing. Yeah, you did the shoe. I know you wanted the grand reveal. But yeah, I'm gonna ride with Toast.
I guess
here.
we're going-
Toast. Now give your spiel. I really just spoiled your whole thing. I feel like a dick. I ruined your delivery.
I had Toast up. Rob Beaver's like, let me interject and tell you what Toast's pick is real quick.
Yeah.
All right, so you like Giants first 5 run line?
No, I took Giants on the money line here. So first and foremost, just one of these things where I think Blake Snell comes out and deals. Why? He's had 2 starts under his belt. I understand that he hasn't looked very good, but he wasn't on the road against those Rays in that second start, and the Rays at home versus left-handed pitching is always a spot to be worried about. That doesn't excuse 7 runs on 6 hits in any way, shape, or form. But I also think that Blake Snell is obviously better than that, and I think that he comes on home here and shoves tonight against this Arizona team that I don't really trust. I think the bubbles kind of popped a little bit. We've seen that the last 2 games, only 3 runs total after playing 2 extra innings games where one of those extra inning games they scored 2 runs, and the next one they scored 12. It's just an absolute joke in how this team can show up and not show up at times. Not to mention you have Jordan Montgomery on the other side for the Snakes, who is one of those other guys with Blake Snell, who is one of those high free agent guys this offseason that was trying to find for jobs. And Monty, this is his first start here against this Giants team that, yeah, they suck. And I don't really trust them against left or right-handed pitching, but against lefties, I will give them a little bit more of an edge. I think that Blake Snell really comes and shows that he was supposed to be the bet on pitcher and the guy that should have got all the money. I think he shoves here tonight. The Giants bullpen, everybody's ready to go. Tyler Rogers went back-to-back days, but his brother is going to be in. Duvall will be fine. And Eric Milner, he's went 2 of the last 3. So I'm really hoping that Miller guys were available because he's been really good for them. But either way, I think that Snell probably goes 7 innings here and probably gives up 1 or 2 runs. But I think he pitches very, very well tonight.
And Prop Beaver, you're with them on Giants money line?
I don't know about the 7 innings part, but yeah, I'll ride with the Giants money line. If he gets through 6 here, I'll be very happy. But yeah, I'm a bit worried about the length here. But yes, the point is, I mean, anyways, Toast, you know me and my splits. This D-backs lineup is the 2nd worst offense from the 6th to the 9th innings, anyways. So yeah, I'll ride with you on the Giants. I'll ride with my boy Toast. He's hot. He knows he's good with these little pitcher reads. He knows when guys can bounce back or not. I'm going to trust him here.
Commish, would you be trusting Toast with his analysis?
I trust Toast all the time. I just
not here.
don't like
Not here.
Just not right now.
yeah, all the time, but not this one time.
That was a polite no.
Yeah. I like the Giants lineup. I think they get to Montgomery tonight. I don't trust Blake Snell. Like, I definitely trust Toast, but I definitely don't trust Blake Snell.
You're good, dude.
And for that reason, I'm going to be on the Diamondbacks first 5 over 1.5.
Whoa. Okay, you went
don't know how
the
you don't bet
complete
that.
other way. Okay.
Well, not the complete other way. I mean, the Giants can win. The Giants can win 5-4. They can win.
Did you say Diamondbacks first 5 team total?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was first 5 money run line. I thought you said plus. Okay.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, I just need him to score 2 runs in the first 5 innings.
So basically,
I
a
don't
fade
think
of
that's
Snell.
ridiculous.
A fade of
No.
Snell.
Like literally, Blake Snell just got to walk a guy and then give up a home run, and then I'll turn the game off, and then I'll see that the Giants won the next day, and then everybody's gonna be happy.
Yeah.
I'm good.
All right. Community is on the D-backs there. Diamondbacks win the poll. Shall we do a community parlay and get the hell out of here?
Oi!
All right.
Does that have a sound effects board?
Prop Beaver, while we're doing
Yeah.
this, do you want to get
I'm making one as we speak.
an underdog? Okay.
Yep.
First leg is Angels. We got Angels, Reds. What did they vote for there? Did they like the Reds? Anyone remember?
Probably they were the
Oh.
favorite, right?
Yeah, I think so. Reds, then Phillies, White Sox. I know they didn't like the White Sox. Red Sox, Pirates. They probably like the Pirates because, oh, wait, they probably like the Red Sox. Damn it, I don't remember any of these. Astros, Nats. No, they like the Nationals. I remember that. Okay, cast your votes. That's right, because no one was back in Verlander. Commish, while they're voting, you want to tell these people where they can find your stuff?
Find what stuff?
Like,
Your Substack, your
Your
Twitter,
OnlyFans.
Find
Your
what?
Grinder.
your OnlyFans.
I just don't know what I'm allowed to share on this airwave.
Everything.
No, plug your stuff.
No, I have my Substack that I run. You can see it's in my Twitter profile. I tweet it out every so often, but it's got my pitcher notes, all my action research, all that stuff every day. Free plays every day for Roto Grinders. I tweet those out, or they tweet them out and I retweet them. And then on here, Monday through Thursday, and sometimes Friday, when Sauce holds a gun in my head and says you're not allowed to have practice because I don't have a guest for Friday.
I got to
Yeah.
put the show first, and if I need to resort to violence, I don't
will
have
happen.
83,000 subscribers by accident. I get it done, and if I need you on,
I have 24 angry parents who called me today, and I just keep sending them a voicemail because I'm on this show.
Yeah.
Hey, that works.
Phillies money line is the first leg of the parlay, by the way. So we got the scumbags in there today.
I think they were.
Community parlay is due for a hit.
Is Dalback under a half a hit? Is that making the parlay?
Well,
Now that's a hell of a lag.
people have asked if we can include other stuff in the community parlay, like totals and stuff, but that would have to be for smaller slates. When we have 15
Yeah.
games, there's just no way. But for smaller
Yeah,
slates, like on those Thursday shows when there's only 6 games, we could definitely do some fun stuff.
It's just you guys have to understand, like if we're putting like hitters and stuff in there, the time this show would take to get the votes in and all
I
that
know.
stuff, it would just be crazy.
We would be live for 5 hours.
Yeah, it'd be like, what are these guys doing?
Orioles, Royals. They definitely like the Orioles. A lot of chalky in this poll. There's a lot of chalky selections. Everyone liked the Yankees. Everyone liked the Guardians. Everyone liked the Orioles, and most people like the Braves. So this is going to be interesting. Which piece wins out of this one?
I sent you the thing.
Somebody sent me a note. Yeah, here it is. Royals have won 8 straight games at home as a dog.
So, genuine question: when you guys see stuff like that, does that make you
Care
want to
less.
play that trend more, or fade it?
It
The
means-
way I look at it is I present the sides as like 2 attorneys preparing a case, and then I just add it to the side of the case, and then whoever has the strongest case, that's who I side with at the end. It's not a matter of like, oh, I follow this or I follow this. Every single angle is added to the side, and then the ones that have an overwhelming case, there's an overwhelming case for this team, then that's the one that'll make the final ticket.
I think
I
that
guess I
people
just-
like to hear that stuff, so that's why I add little things like that because I know that people like to hear that stuff. But yeah, It's really.
I mean,
doesn't do
I wouldn't disregard it though. It's not like
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
Like,
I was going to say it's not nothing, but
Right.
it's. I would never make a bet just because of one trend,
right,
ever.
not because of that, right? But like if I'm on the fence and I have some good points for the Royals, or I think that what you were talking about the Royals, and I heard that might be like the deciding factor that gets the bet down.
Like for instance, in our Discord today, somebody was like, Miami 0-4 in game 1 of a series, and I'm like, okay, but there's 1,000 reasons to fade the Marlins. Being 0-4 with 4 wins out of 20 isn't probably a good reason to back.
Right.
That was
But see,
my.
I would
of
almost
course, the
be-
Cubs win, and they're like, "Oh, told you." Ah.
But I guess that's my question is, like, there's some trends that have valid reasons behind them. Like, so just using that as an example, like the Marlins might struggle after traveling. Like, who knows? Maybe they got a shit plane, they fly these guys coach, whatever it is, and they suck in series openers all the time.
They don't fly him
Versus-
coach.
I know, I'm joking. But like, there's better examples. There's better examples for sure. But like,
get what you're
Poppy's got
trying
a
to
lot of
say,
trends that he uses, you know, like, and it's more so like this team against left-handed pitching in this time, or like we faded Kenta Maeda yesterday in the day because the guy's afraid of the sun. Like, to me, stuff like that has a lot of validity. Like, dude, legit, some guys are afraid of the sun. I got kids in my program that don't like pitching at night, or they don't like, you know, pitching during the day. It's like, it's a real thing, I think, at every level of baseball. But whenever I see like 8-0 as a dog or 0-8 as a dog, where I'm like, but there's got to be a cause somewhere. Like, there's got to be something upstream. And that's where that was more so my question is like, how much validity do you put in that stuff? Or like you guys said, you know, you might consider it, but it wouldn't be the only thing that would get
It
you
wouldn't
to
be
bet
the
something.
only. I would need more
Yeah.
evidence.
I
I would
think-
need a
yeah.
stronger case.
My weirdo, like at home against lefties in the day splits, like the Orioles where they're 30th. I
Yeah,
only
you
really
need to
like to
chill.
use that
You
for like
need
the
to
first
chill.
2 weeks. That's only like the first 2 weeks until I get some data. I just need something to work with.
But Kyle, I don't know how you could bet the Cardinals here when they're batting just 111 as a team at home on
Dude,
Tuesday
all right,
nights
to
when
be
the wind
fair,
is
though-
greater than 12 miles an hour.
To be fair though, those shits were hitting. The splits were hitting, bro. My day-night splits, they've been on point thus far. If a guy's a night crawler, he's a night crawler. If a guy's a day walker, he's a day walker.
I cannot
You know who's a
believe
dick?
you're fading the Cubs when they're 11-0 on weeks where Mark Wahlberg is in the box office for a top 3 movie.
Yeah, that was me.
You know, Philly's 0-6 last 6 weeks that cheesesteak sales have dropped.
Actually, you want to know a real trend? The last 3 times that Mark Eberflus has gone to a Cubs game, they have now won by a
Matt
combined.
Eberflus.
I don't care what his name is. Maybe
Who's
win a
that?
football game.
He's the
Um,
former head coach of the Bears.
Bears.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. I'm like, who the fuck is this?
I knew that name from somewhere.
He's
They're 3-0. They've won by 20 plus combined runs. So when
You know what?
Eberflus is in the house, you back the Cubs.
I knows how to win, man.
I will
Guys,
never
yes,
forget
yes, yes,
Eberflus for one game. Prop Beaver, what game is it?
It was against the Ravens when the Ravens were down big, and Eberflus put on the choke job of the century to let the Ravens back into
He
the
sat
game, just
in-
letting them pretty much rip the zone.
He sat in a deep cover 6 the entire second half and blew a 4-touchdown lead. He let Lamar Jackson throw for like 300 yards in the second half, sitting in prevent. Oh my God, I will never forget
And
it.
this Seesaw is just being pissed
I
off
was
in his chair.
sick. And like from that day, I didn't know who Eberflus was at the time. This is
But I'll
before
never forget him now.
I hate him. I will hate him for life. What's the odds on this parlay, please?
Plus 762.
Plus
Maybe
7.
Everflus is a baseball guy.
Maybe. I mean, I'll just tell you something. When a guy like that comes into your stadium, you produce.
So today's community parlay: Phillies money line, Yankees money line, Brewers money line, Padres money line. Brewers are going to ruin it because being Beaver in Sharp City, and Sharp City is St. Louis. Cards up, cards. Everyone have a good day tomorrow. Okay, all right. So loaded
Underdog.
show. Oh, yo, I'm sorry. Do the underdog, and then tomorrow we have a loaded day tomorrow. So let's do the underdog real quick. That's not it, Beaver. It's this one. Did you just make another dog noise?
No, I don't know what noise that makes. I just make them. They come out. I guess what they are afterwards. So, okay, we got 3 plays here. I'm going with a Dolo under 15.5 pitching outs. That actually makes me a lot more happy about my first 5 team total over. Shows the books are not very confident that he goes deep into this game. And on top of that, I think the Angels are going to get him out of there early. I really think they can rock him here. So I'm going with the lower there. Verlander, I'm going with the lower than fantasy points because A, he's on a pitch count, 80 to 85 pitches. B, I think he can give up runs here. C, I don't think he's going to strike out many batters. So tons of reasons for a lower there. And then Kyle Gibson, I'm going with the sharp angle here. The books are making a statement. They're putting this piece of crap at 2.5. They're juicing it under. I'm riding with them. Kyle Gibson, go out there and show the world today. You're still him.
If you don't have an Underdog Fantasy account, it's available in any state highlighted in this map. So if you're in one of the states highlighted in yellow, head over to Underdog Fantasy, the website, or download the app. When you make your account, make sure you use the promo code BET, B-E-T. That'll get you a $100 deposit bonus match. So if you deposit $100, they'll give you a free $100 to play with. Tomorrow, all right, so 10:30 a.m., I'm live with Ian of Ice Talk and System Plays to go through the 2 NHL playoff games.
Oh, my God.
Right after that, it's me. Oh, man. I think it's Crispy Cap. We're going to do the 4 NBA playoff games right after that. Then after that, it'll be me, Toast, Prop, Beaver for the 15 MLB games. 16, I'm sorry, because there's a doubleheader. So tomorrow at 10:30 a.m., the show starts. We're going NHL playoffs first, or I got NHL guys coming on. I'm not the one giving out the picks. So NHL first. With you probably know Ian. He get that show Ice Talk on YouTube. I get a lot of positive reviews on it. So NHL playoff picks first, then NBA playoff picks right after that, MLB after that. So it's going to be a loaded Saturday show. Everybody have a great night. Remember to bet responsibly. I'm posting my bets on the website right now on KyleKirms.com, and both of these gentlemen already have bets up there.
I'm posting like 2 or 3 player props in like 20 minutes.
All right, cool. Have a good one. Later, guys.
You guys.